My father used to say, "Watch this man."
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. It's only too bad Valiant beat him to Gutfeld.
Disney insider WDW Pro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following WDW Pro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
There he goes again. Honey Badger gonna do what Honey Badger gonna do. Scooping and scooping and scooping.
Morty, let's check in on Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray? Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird. Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you. Always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
Alrighty, everyone, put on your coffee glasses.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We're gonna do it!
Alright, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man!
Are you okay?
They'll never take
freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the show that explains entertainment and gives journalists the next day's headlines. It's the Pro Show Live!
Well, folks, we got us a show. It took 7 episodes to get to a show. I'm not saying it's a good show. In fact, I'm definitely not saying it's a good show, but it's a show nonetheless. Welcome, folks, as we get started on the penultimate real Talking Dead. And in this case, I think it's absolutely correct for us to call this the Talking Dead. Lots of death in here in the most absurdly stupid ways you have ever seen put onto television, but things happened. We know what happened now. We know what lives in the mind of Leslye Headland. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any worry that we will be like last episode where we just stare blankly into the cameras and say, what did we just watch? Fear not, for we have things to talk about after this episode where things do happen. It just certainly cements that this show is utterly, totally stupid. But we have panelists who, of course, are not in any way stupid. Folks, as we prepare another Acolyte after party of absolute excellence, please welcome Culture Casino and Lorne Connor. And folks, we'll have more of our panelists joining us momentarily. Of course, this was a longer episode. Not everyone watches it at high speed, such as I. And we'll have John Trent, Jonas J. Campbell joining us. I think Michelle of Force of Light is going to be here, as well as possibly X-Wing. We might even have a taco truck sighting, ladies and gentlemen. Culture, you just finished the episode, I'm assuming. And Lorne, of course, is not watching this. He is the representative of the vast majority of people who are not watching this show. Culture, give me your initial thoughts having just finished this, and then we'll begin welcoming the rest of the panel on.
Honestly, I wish I was Lorne, and I was the vast majority of people not watching this. Look, it took 7 episodes for something to happen, and things happened. Now, if this was the big mystery, it was no mystery. At least 3 of 4 things that were predictable were predicted by all of us. And I have to tell you, I am unimpressed. The creativity that you would be hoping for in a show like this is non-existent. You know, we knew that the Jedi were the bad guys and these witches were the good guys, and that's exactly what we got. And
Culture, I'm not even sure that's the case. Let me push back on that.
No, okay.
I don't know that there are good guys and bad girls when everybody is so utterly incompetent. Like that, you know, what do you do with that? When you go into an office space and the people don't know how to turn on the light, let alone run the factory or run the office or whatever it is, you know, it's kind of like if they don't understand how to switch the light switch, maybe don't ask them how the fax machine works. When it comes to these witches and Jedi, they're idiots. They're just flat out idiots, all of them.
I may join you in that thought process, but I just want to say this. So they weren't bad beings?
They were not bad beings? Is that what you're saying?
No, bad beings.
Okay, explain to the audience who might not know what bad beings are.
No, they're the lesbian witches.
I see.
Yeah, no,
pantomime. I got it now. I
got you. But no, ultimately, I'm here. I am. I'm going to say this. Everybody, this was a giant misunderstanding, and
and some forced constipation. Don't forget forced constipation and unnecessary changes into smoke ravens for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
lots of stupidity. Lauren's face says it all, folks. It's how my face was when the ultimate big moment in the episode happened. Before we talk about it, we're going to bring on Jonas J. Campbell, executive producer extraordinaire. Jonas, how are you holding up after finding out that poor soul is accidentally to blame for everything?
What is the title of that book? For I have no mouth and I must scream.
Is that your feeling right now, Jonas, having watched this?
It's a short story by Harlan Ellison. Forgive me there. This was a better episode than some of them. Better episode than the last one. Still,
but yet it made the other episodes worse.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It made me wonder. Yet again, there are things that happen in the first episode that I say, why did you do it that way? And the only reason is, well, we got this thing in the other episode that it needs to happen for that to be there, for the misunderstanding to happen.
This did a special thing, which is it managed to be better than any of the other episodes we've ever had to watch.
Oh, that's
and yet it
true.
made. Oh, which episode has been better than this?
The episode 6 was hilarious.
Okay, well, yes, we did have a good laugh.
No,
last
5
week.
was hilarious. The one with the bad
5 was also funny.
5
and
was
Smilo Ren
far.
was not naked. He never showed up in this episode.
True.
That's something.
True. No, I rated last episode at 2. I already know what I'm going to rate this one. There'll be no John Trent to try to trick me into changing my rating this time.
Well, I'll say though, this did that very rare thing, which is it actually made the rest of the show worse in comparison, and it actually destroys some of the narratives so badly. We'll talk about that all in a few minutes, but
there's one thing I need to say real quick.
What do you have, Jonas?
I forgot this. There we go.
Hold my soda. Is that what you're saying, Jonas?
Yes. It's a ginger root beer, actually.
Folks, after what we just watched, you're going to need it. More than 800 of you joining us as we get ready to have one heck of an Acolyte after party. And because I feel like Leslye and Kathleen have been trolling us, it's only appropriate that we welcome aboard a troll to help us through our suffering and perhaps add to it, Jonas. Jonas, I know you'll be very excited to know that we have Wilton on board now.
Oh, good.
Hello, everyone. So, okay, so here's the thing, guys. I recognize I have to apologize because, well, I was kind of wrong about things regarding the Acolyte. So,
In what way, Wilton?
Well, see, I thought you guys were the ones that were bigoted, and now I'm kind of turning my ways, and I think that they're bigoted, and here's why. First off, who is called a Mandala, right? Shouldn't she be more like a Peopla if she was not going to be like as sexist, or like Leslye Headland, because that's like being like culturally appropriating last names.
And, well, lesbian. Never mind, Wilton, never mind. I want to welcome someone to the stage who has been looking very forward to these witches finally being slayed. But again, folks, it was in the most lackluster way you have ever seen in your life. This will actually top, Lauren, you may not believe this. Audience, if you've not watched this episode, you may not believe this, but trust me, this actually surpasses the lameness of Luke Skywalker dying by forced constipation. The way the witches died was not satisfying whatsoever. Please welcome to the Acolyte after party, the one, the only, Mr. John F. Trent. Hello, sir.
Hello. And you are absolutely correct. It was lame. That's like the only thing we learned in this episode. Everything else was just a replay of the third episode. Like,
yes,
40 minutes of wasted time aside from that.
Now, here's what we did learn, and John, we always do a recap here, and folks, we'll go into the recap with John in just a moment, and once we do the recap, then that opens the door to Lauren to hop in and question some of the lore behind this. But before we do that, the way in which this episode ruins all the rest of the show is, Soul has already been tricked once by that rascally May and her tattoo, her gigantic forehead tattoo. So if he's already been tricked once by
he
that,
knows about the tattoo. They make it very clear in this episode.
Giant forehead tattoo means that the prior episodes where he forgets, there's a giant forehead tattoo, and where that episode, the makeup artist was like, why don't we not put a giant forehead tattoo on this character where there has been one the entire time? All of this adds up to an episode that just proves this show has terrible, terrible writing. John, let's start the recap, sir. Here we go.
Can I ask a quick question, though?
Please, Wilton.
Are you sure it's not kind of like in that scene, that episode of Family Matters where Steve Urkel's in the pool, and at one point he's got the goggles on, and at one point they're down by his neck, and then at one point he's not wearing the goggles, and then they're up on his head, and they're down by his neck, and then he's not wearing them. Is it kind of like that?
Wilton, do you remember the last seasons of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 80s cartoon where they no longer cared and different voices of the turtles came out of the wrong turtles all the time and the colors were changing? This makes that look like a masterpiece of continuity.
Actually, Pro, you know what? I get it that we're all excited to hear what John has to say. I mean, thrilled to hear the recap of this episode. I don't know. Have you read any super chats here yet?
We have not even hit a super chat yet. Should we do that first, Jonas? Should we do it?
We definitely need to hit some of these because, first of all, Ruby Hove gifted one WDW Pro membership, which is
very kind.
Which is very kind. Red Tigress gifted 5 WDW.
And did you guys know that Red Tigress's kindness reaches to the stars?
Wilton, are you attempting to get more memberships on your channel?
No, that's what I say all the time for her.
Okay, I'm just checking. We're just checking. We forgive us for being cynical of your intentions, Wilton.
Or that you're a shill at all in any way.
Oh, definitely.
Badparkplace.com.
Mr. FZ3 gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you very much, Mr. FZ3. Tender Warrior 68 gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Well done, son.
Unbelievable here. Mark Nichols also gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Okay, now I'll shill for me.
And
over here.
Not to be outdone, Staccato DDS gifted 50 WDW Pro memberships.
Folks, what a way to start. It seems as if there are more of us and definitely more members now because of the generosity of these wonderful people out there who now can enjoy things such as the Genre Guys, which a brand new episode of the Genre Guys just released today. Folks, let's celebrate in the only Star Wars-y way that we know how. Here we go.
At least that's what I hear.
Wait, what?
Let's go! Jabba, right?
Oh no!
It's a Sarlacc!
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
Guys, this is
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
No!
Now, ascend, my son.
That's funnier tonight than it was ever before, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. What a way to get started.
Is that funnier because you're counting down?
Did you watch the episode, Wilton?
Of
course you didn't. By the hair of your chest, we're going to get you up, though, Wilton. Don't worry. You'll understand why it's funnier now.
That's why I'm here.
I just have to get this. This was before the show even started, by the way. Chipmunk of Vengeance for 10 pounds. Acolyte fans like to make headcanons. So I have my own headcanon. The Acolyte is actually a very bad holo novel, and that is why Plo Koon is in it before he was born. Okay,
wait a minute. Was Plo Koon in this, or is it Ki-Adi-Mundi?
Hold on.
That's a joke, Lauren.
There's two things here. First of all, Chipmunk of Vengeance did send in a $5 correction. Meant Ki-Adi-Mundi, not Plo Koon, but
it was better as Plo Koon, though. It's funnier
because it would have been
in fiction. Yeah,
there's someone of Plo Koon's species that looks exactly like Plo Koon.
Yeah,
in the group of Jedi, though. So I would forgive someone for thinking that Plo Koon was in there. In fact, I would think that Lucasfilm probably just messed that one up. So.
Plo Koon is alive with the sound of music.
All right. Well, we'll come back to those super chats in just a moment, folks. Before we do, John, it's time for the recap. Get us started.
Do your worst, sir.
If this sounds a lot like episode 3, I believe, folks, it's not your imagination. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So I didn't take as many detailed notes because, I mean, a lot of it was just repetition from episode 3. But basically, the show basically starts off with showing Torben being upset that he's out on a field research project.
John, why is Torben mad? Why is he so disgruntled?
Because he's having to take soil samples and water samples, and they're exploring the planet of Brendok, and I guess they've been on their 5-year mission, just like Star Trek, and they're trying to find a Virgins, and
which is pronounced very oddly, by the way, John,
Yes,
in the
it
episode.
is. They're trying to find the virgins.
We need to find virgins. John, is Torben's? Are his parents passing away? Is that why he needs to leave?
He just wants to go back to Coruscant because I guess he doesn't like the nature.
So who's Torben?
Plot. Okay. He's White Guilt Dalsim.
Yes.
The sand is coarse and uncomfortable, and it gets everywhere.
Well, in this case, it's ferns. It's Hobby Lobby ferns. They're plastic and they're abrasive.
I mean, who doesn't like Brendok?
And
all right, John. So floating White Guilt Dalsim wants to go home, right?
Right. And then Sol tells him why they're there because he was never told why he was there or why they're even on this mission. And he explains that they are searching for a Virgins because Brendok had been a lifeless planet after some kind of hyperspace accident 100 years in the past, and now it's full of life. So they're exploring
forests that look like they're 1,000 years old, right, John?
Yeah.
All right. So
forests that look like they're England.
Did they explain that emergence in the show?
No, virgins.
Virgins, Lauren, and make sure you pronounce it in the most awkward way possible.
Virgins.
Not what I'm talking about. There is an event called the Emergence.
No, they don't say emergence.
No, it's not.
That's the whole kickoff.
Is that a High Republic thing? Yeah.
Yes, it's the entire kickoff for the High Republic. It's a hyperspace accident. There was a ship that blew up in hyperspace, and when that happened, pieces of the ship started flying out of hyperspace in all kinds of different places and times, destroyed a whole bunch of different planets. So that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, they just says there's a hyperspace incident, and there's maybe like one piece of like, I don't know, looks like a statue. It looks like a ruin that they kind of make camp at one point.
Why does Lauren know that though?
Wilton, never question the encyclopedic knowledge of Lorne. It is the opposite of what lives in your felt noggin.
Yeah, I feel bad for Lauren for reading the High Republic. I hope you just read the wikis.
I read the first novel, and that was the only one that was enough for me. So
was that where Geode hit on the kid?
No, Geode wasn't introduced in that one. So
we all missed that
one. Yeah.
All right, John. So we
explain why everything doesn't actually stink if you've read this one High Republic novel. I feel like that's an excuse they're going to use.
All right, John. So they're on the hunt for virgins, and they come across two little girls.
Well, hold on. Before that, we get the explanation of a soul tells Torben why they're doing this, and then Indara lectures him because it's like, why would you tell my Padawan that? I'm trying to make him find the answers and discover them for himself.
Of something there's no way he could ever learn unless someone literally told him.
Yeah,
it's not some great mystery. It's literally a piece of factoid we've withheld from him for 5 years. She didn't say any of this, folks. It's just logic if you were to think about it for 2 seconds.
So she lectures him, and this will kind of be an ongoing theme throughout the episode of Indara lecturing Sol and kind of putting him down anytime he makes any kind of suggestion. And then Sol eventually goes and discovers the two twins messing around with the butterfly. May's trying to kill it. He stalks them to the Hoover Dam, and then he infiltrates the Hoover Dam, discovers what the witches are all up to, their dark rituals that they're going to be performing, that the twins are in danger, that they are training them, reports back to Indara.
And let's pause there, John. These are not actually twins anymore, so we may have to rename good twin and bad twin.
Correct.
Right?
They're not twins anymore. They're we find that out later on after they take the blood samples. So that's significantly later on in the episode, but they take a blood sample, and it's speculated, at least not confirmed, that they are a single consciousness that has been divided into
two bodies.
Two people.
Holy crap. Does that actually mean that like my whole bigoted theory of her being called a people actually like works?
Yeah, it does make sense for them being called they, but there's literally two people.
Oh my.
Also, Wilton, I'm convinced this is how you and Floral operate. Two consciousnesses inside different felt bodies.
I thought it was a colonoscopy.
Yeah. I would imagine you experience that often.
Smells like a colonoscopy.
All right.
All right, John.
So they report back. Soul reports back is like, these people are bad. They're up to no good. We need to stop them. And Dara's like, no, we need to contact the council. We got to do all of this stuff.
And folks, when John says Indara, he means Trinity. We apologize for those of you. Yes, Trinity.
Okay. All right.
She's only there to be Trinity in a robe.
Basically, the first 10 minutes are literally what we saw in episode 3. I don't feel like we've added anything new except for the virgin stuff. And then so they eventually like confront the witches in the middle of the ritual after May had been branded with the tattoo. What are we calling lesbian chief leader?
I don't even remember at this point. Well, she's Smoke Raven now.
I thought it was Mama Cass.
Smoke Raven.
Smoke Raven. Okay. Well, there's 2 Smoke Ravens though.
She got smoked, baby.
Yeah.
Also, that was supposed to be 50 people. No, that wasn't 50 people. That was like 20 extras tops.
Can you guys like pull the clips of how this happens?
Hey, so can I ask?
We'll work on it if anybody actually watched this and cared enough to post it on Twitter anymore.
What's the race of the turd face lady?
Oh,
is she the same race as Maz Kanata?
Yeah,
we're talking about Horny Head.
Kanata.
Oh, which one? Who are you talking about?
Are you talking about Kanata? You remember from the Star Wars? Nobody cares about.
Oh, she's Mama Odie. That's her species.
She's from Wakanda.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that.
So we do get a scene where Anasaya is basically like she's inside Torben's head and is like trying to get him to succumb to her. And basically he does when he says, please, I want to go back to Coruscant. And
okay, wait a minute. John, explain to the audience again, why does he want to go back to Coruscant?
Because I don't know. I really don't know. He doesn't
because he wants to go back to Coruscant. Don't think about it too hard, folks. It's not that kind of show.
He doesn't like the wood.
He doesn't want to be with Brenda.
Tired of spraying off on himself.
Can't take the Coruscant out of the guy, but you can put him in the woods.
He's also like the way they show him in the very first. He's literally, I don't understand how he's even a Padawan at all, because he's just not in control of himself whatsoever.
So who's the Padawan?
The blonde curly head kid that like decided to drink some tree juice.
The one that's not an Asian guy, a Wookiee, or Trinity.
So Torben,
the youngest old man that you've ever seen.
That's right.
Exactly.
The self-deleter. Yeah.
By the way, I can report, folks.
Got it.
And I am trying to find clips of this episode on Twitter. I think even those who were defending the Acolyte they've tuckered out. They're not even posting anything anymore.
As long as we're on that subject, I'm just going to have to point out that when I went on Disney Plus, I assumed it would be the first thing that you see.
Nope.
And I did this on 2 different devices. You had to scroll past everything. It was the very last thing on the slides, all the way to the right. So
can confirm.
So then, literally recap of episode 3 again. She threatens to tell them to leave. They get them to test the kids. We go back to the ship. They do the testing.
All over again with the same dialogue.
Right. It's they do show what's his name or self-deleter, white guilt, quote unquote fortifying himself through the Force. He's just there meditating. And then May does her test. We actually see this. She obviously fails it on purpose. The Jedi realize this, and then Osha comes in. They take her test, and then there's a Indara Trinity tells all the other Jedi to go to the camp where the ruin is. Right. As she's the one who contacts the council. There's a bunch of waiting time. Soul's like something is going on, and it's taking too long. And as soon as he's about to get up and leave, Trinity shows up. And it's the council has refused to train them. We're not doing it. We're going to let them stay with these evil witches that are conducting all kinds of dark ritual magic that you have seen with your own eyes. And we're just going to let them have at it. And,
so that way the Jedi are bad.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But we never find out, by the way, also, John, we never find out what made these twins, right? Like there's no explanation at all.
This is also where as soon as that happens, we get the blood sample report. So she's reporting all of this to the council without like the blood sample going in and stuff. So they're making a decision based off of not all of the evidence. And then so we get the blood sample report, and then it's like one consciousness and two bodies because it's the same symbiotes in the blood. And then
folks, we'll get to Don't Skip Leg Day in just a minute, okay? That's what we're showing you. We're not there yet in the recap. We'll get there.
This causes white guilt self-deleter to be like, oh, this is how I get off of the planet. And he jumps on the speeder and jets over to
By the way, those speeder effects were awful.
I think you're giving them too much credit.
So he speeds over to Hoover Dam. Oh,
well, because I was more convinced in the third film, Return of the Jedi. That the speeder bike was actually a speeder bike. This thing was like, I'm gonna put this thing on a green screen background on stilts in front of a screen that's gonna move. It was terrible.
Well, the CGI has been terrible for the entire show. Every time you see a ship in space, it looks like a high resolution version of the original StarCraft cutscenes. It's terrible. And no offense to the original StarCraft, it was made in the 90s.
$180 million budget.
Yeah, probably 200.
Probably. One has to wonder, why would you hire ILM moving forward if you are a customer who might want to use them for your movie after watching what they're putting out here?
That's a good question.
Can't be.
I'm at a loss
that these people even hire them. They're putting this crap out.
Maybe Pro's onto something. Maybe they're trying to get rid of ILM at a loss.
I think that's one of the few profitable segments of Lucasfilm. But I just have to say, Photon Empress here with a $100.
Photon, that's the kind of thing that pauses the conversation and deserves its way straight on the screen.
Yes, absolutely. What the heck did I just watch? Who decided that Star Wars shouldn't be entertaining anymore? And why?
How dare you in your 100? How dare you in your Benjamin critique? Don't Skip Leg Day. I mean, look at this. Who knew that Wookiees could soar? You've never seen a Wookiee take flight like this before.
All right, I need a pause button because Photon Empress is correct. The terrible, terrible Wookiee costume. You can see the underlying human being in this. Not only that, you can see the flat plastic pad on the bottom of the foot of this costume at least 6 times in this episode. You are like, that is not a Wookiee foot.
But on the bright side,
I don't know. The Wookiee thing always throws me off because even if when it's the costume at the parks, it's kind of the same. Like, you're never meant to actually see a Wookiee's hands on screen.
On the bright side,
a black glove.
On the bright side, we did find out that this Wookiee is sporting New Balance, which I think is great for your posture, folks, and great for running. So no wonder Leg Day is so successful.
It is a solid plastic piece on the bottom of the costume that makes up the foot pad. I am angry about that because make an effort here. The fur needs to hang over the foot. You should never see
watching
that.
NASCAR, they saw the suits with all the advertisements. They had to get their marketing in there.
They put Nike
at least it wasn't Reebok
on the bottom of it. Oh, it's terrible. I don't care.
Also, this implies that if he's wearing clothes, then why isn't Chewbacca ever wearing clothes?
He's a free spirit, that Chewbacca.
He's got his little thing.
That's right. He's wearing an authoritative belt, just staring there buck naked with a cross belt.
Well, they just call that a cross string.
All right, you guys are too nice to this stuff. I'm like,
who's being nice? What are you talking about?
It's awful.
I'm very upset right now.
Culture, I demand a play-by-play of you reviewing all of those scenes where they should have done better.
Oh my gosh!
No, let's make sure that Photon Empress gets at least our comments, whether or not her money's worth here.
Yes.
I don't understand. First of all, I'm going to say this is one of the better episodes of this show, and it does not answer any questions.
Well, and it makes all the other episodes worse. But Jonas, what does it say if the best episode so far? And you say one of the best. I say this is the best episode so far. And therefore I think it will be the best episode. Listen, it's like comparing toxic waste to sludge, you know. But here's what I'll say. How is it that we just watched an episode that literally was episode 3, but with different camera angles, and that's what we've been given as the penultimate episode?
And that's already been done in Star Wars.
And we predicted this. We predicted this would be a flashback episode.
But we didn't predict it would be just different camera angles. They probably shot this episode at the same time as the other one, just recording off 2 different places.
That is more money, Pro, that the producers can put in their pocket. Now, come on.
It's like camera 1 and camera 2 had episode 3 and episode 6 duct taped to them.
I am telling you right now.
How are you guys saying this is like the best one?
Lesbian head.
Because the others were so bad.
I thought it was because the women died.
The Khmer fight with all the hammy dialogue, that one was hilarious, and that's the best one.
When all the witches simultaneously died of witch constipation. Okay.
Yeah, why did they?
That's not the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Still don't know.
I thought they were smoke monsters at this point.
Indara or Trinity literally used the Force and lobotomized them.
Is this
really
next? Are we going to get a third perspective here? We're going to get the whole thing from Indara's perspective?
Yes, next week, the final episode.
Yeah, it'll be Chimere.
Force smoke bombs. That's what you guys are missing here. They actually are taking cues from Batman. The witches just disappeared and teleported out of there.
You didn't even watch this show if you think that's what happened, because it takes a very long time for them to turn into smoke monsters. And also, apparently, when they turn into smoke monsters, they can still be stabbed. I don't understand.
Also, we don't know why they turn into smoke monsters, because nothing happens when they do turn into smoke monsters. There's no reason, and there's no foreshadowing, and there's no explanation of, oh, by the way, did you know, sweetie, I can turn into a smoke raven sometimes. And here's what happens when I do it. No, she just goes and turns into a smoke raven and then gets stabbed and she's out.
I was going to let her go.
Well,
that's your final words. I was going to let her go on the field trip.
I signed the permission slip. What are you doing?
It's your final words on the way out.
This is how the people of my planet let people go on field trips, by turning into a weird smoke monster.
Like there's a little fire in the hallway, and your answer to the little fire in the hallway is, hold on, guys, without explanation, let me turn in. And by the way, while we're at a Mexican standoff, let me turn into a giant smoke monster that scares the shit out of you, so that you have every reason in the world to stab me. Oh, but it's your fault.
But if it's a field trip, maybe they're taking cues from the Mr. Ray in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, anyway.
Sorry.
Photon Empress, thank you so much, and stick with us. We're going to try and explain it, but
nobody even
mushrooms. Mushrooms.
I want to know it's Kathleen Kennedy and Leslye headline.
We have no idea why any of this is being done. We can't explain this. Nobody can.
And why does it end in a church?
Mushrooms.
Oh wait, that's lost. That's a
okay.
different.
All right, John. Keep going on the recap. Where are we at now?
Wait, John. Did you write down mine?
Mine? Oh, that it's an old mine. It's supposed to be a mine.
Yeah. With no life. There was no life on this planet, but hey, there's a mine.
Yes, the building there. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought this was another Finding Nemo reference.
I just kind of ignored that.
Thank you.
Mine?
It was better off when it was just the witches built the Hoover Dam.
By the way, more proof that the Jedi are the bad guys. Here's the witch with giant forehead tattoo. Hard to miss, just like her daughter, who also has giant forehead tattoo. Hard to miss, except when it's convenient in the plot for her to have the giant forehead tattoo not there. Here's her proving the Jedi are all baddies. Someday, those noble intentions you all have will destroy every Jedi in the galaxy. She is the one giving the prophecies. She's the one who knows.
I'm not a fan of. Yeah, it's bad.
It still doesn't make sense.
No.
Well, maybe that's because she doesn't have a 4-head. She has a 5-head.
I'm not touching that one. That's all coming out of the puppet's head, folks.
John.
Puppet's head.
Yes.
John, please.
So where we were at, they took the blood sample. Torben rushes off to the Hoover Dam to go and retrieve twins, which is actually a mine. We find out we as Culture pointed out, it is a mine. Trinity tells Soul to like chase after him. She then goes back to the spaceship with the Wookiee and decides to like, I don't know, do whatever she's doing on the spaceship for whatever reason. And they get to
brushing her teeth, John. It's really important.
They get to the Hoover Dam. The May has destroyed the elevator controls because Coral, or what are we calling her?
I'm good with horny head.
Horny head.
Mama horny chick.
I
think that's too far.
Oh.
Horny head was fine. You took it too far, Culture. Come on, man.
Clearly.
Be mature.
Clearly
Be
it's my
mature.
fault.
Go with horny
Clearly.
head.
Why not Mull S?
How about Darth Mom?
There you go.
Okay, Darth Mom. I would
I
go
like
with that.
that. Okay.
Darth Mom instructs May to stop Osha from joining the Jedi because Mama, the other mom, is going to allow Osha to join.
Our two moms.
So
Smoke
Darth Mom has instructed May to stop this and like feed her anger and her hates, get angry. She destroys the elevator. Darth Mom then prepares the other witches for battle. The mother and I don't know, the second Darth Mom comes back and like, what are you guys doing? Why are you preparing for battle? We get the whole scene with
wait, there's
May
two Darth
destroying.
Moms?
Yeah, there's two of them. The lesbian space witches. Yeah.
Oh, I thought one of those was Five Head.
No, just like Sith, lesbians always come in pairs.
Okay.
Lauren?
Well, then there's the scene with May.
Sorry, you're here, Lauren.
Like torching the room. She torches the room, but then instead of her doing it in hate and anger, they now show her being like sympathetic and regretting it. And it's like, why am I burning down? Like trying to put it out and stuff. And it's like, what have I done? Instead of like burning it and like you're gonna die and I'm gonna kill you kind of thing. So who even knows what's happening there now? Because now like they're gonna say like, oh, it's just two different perspectives. That's how Osha saw it, and that is how May saw it. And it's like, well, who even knows what the actual story is now? And then
I just realized. No, John.
Yes,
it's because it's your truth.
Yes, good point.
You're welcome.
Soul and or Discount, Qui-Gon, and Self-Deleter then confront the witches in the courtyard. They have like a brief conversation. What's her name? Like there's a bunch of explosions happen. Soul draws his lightsaber.
Well, wait a minute, John. Let's explain how those explosions happen. The explosions happen because Bad Twin, who we now know is not a twin, but a symbiote, bad symbiote, lit a Lisa Frank notebook on fire that blew up a giant building.
No, she's not the symbiote.
I don't think that's why the explosions happened.
Okay, explain the explosions then.
I think the explosions are caused by Chimere.
So
did we go over the weird mind control thing yet?
Yeah, we did that already. That was in episode 3.
No, the weird mind control, like you saw the inside of his mind on the mind control thing.
Yeah, I talked about that. Yeah.
It was so weird and so pointless. Like, why would she? Is this a devil thing?
Because he wants to go back to Coruscant bad. Real
and she promises, I can send you back to Coruscant. Okay. Right.
And then he's possessed after he like submits to her, I guess. I don't know.
So is this kind of like Venom?
No, that would be cooler. Much cooler.
Then what's the symbiote? Like, so
they say that
symbiote with an NT at the end.
Well,
symbionts.
It's related, anyways.
It's like symbiotes, but savants combined together. Symbionts.
So, yeah, they say that the two girls have the exact same M count, and they have the same symbiont,
which would be midichlorians. I'm assuming.
Lauren, what does that mean?
You're muted.
You're muted. It makes about as much sense.
The M count would be talking about midichlorians. They're using symbiont as separate from that?
They're saying that the two girls have the same exact symbiont, but in two different people, and that's why it has to be that they're a split consciousness, which to me does not really understand the concept of what a symbiote is.
No, I think,
and it's not a Star Wars lore thing. A symbiont is a helpful parasite.
yeah, I'm guessing they're still trying to talk about the midichlorians because Lucas did say that the Jedi are symbiont with them, but that's kind of an awkward way to phrase it. The way that they did, the way that you're saying it.
Well, they're trying to say that these two girls are the same soul, okay, the same consciousness,
right?
But that they inhabit two separate bodies simultaneous.
Right, but that's
artificially created.
Right,
yeah,
and so I mean, if
they're maternal twins.
Like a symbiote
Yes.
is
Yes,
anything that has a semi-parasitic relationship that is helpful to another being. This is something that exists in our world, like those alligators that and the birds that will like pick stuff out of an alligator's tooth. Those are symbiotes.
All right, I'm bored of trying to figure out why Leslye Headland thinks words mean the things that she thinks they mean. So let's move on to Wookiee battle. Don't skip leg day. Tell us about it, John.
Yes. So, well, first off, we got to get to Discount Qui-Gon, decide to lightsaber, stab, five-head, I guess is what Wilton's calling her. And
Smoke Raven turns into a Smoke Raven
right.
nowhere.
She literally like turns into like the like ashes.
Yeah,
And,
she does her thing. Nobody knows it's going to happen. There's no reason for it to happen. She just does
turns
it.
into a Dementor from Harry Potter.
Oh, that's a perfect way of putting it. Yes.
Yeah. So she's like an ashy Dementor. Soul stabs her, kills her. She falls down and like tells her, "I was gonna let Osha go with you."
The only black woman in the show, an ashy Dementor.
What are you talking about? There's multiple black women in the show.
Can we pause here and say there was a very large woman in this coven in this episode, a very burly night sister witch person who was like, "Hey, maybe we don't need to let good twin get out of here." You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Is that how she actually talked?
No, it was like a strange falsetto.
We need to be careful on that one because we know the identity of the person.
Moving along, in the words of Kermit, moving right along.
All right.
So, anyways, I don't know what was I calling her? I don't know. Ashy Dementor is killed by Soul, and then Coral or Horny Head decides to turn into an Ashy Dementor as well
because it worked so well the first time.
And it's implied that
John, what does it do when they turn into Smoke Raven Dementors? What do they gain through that?
It looks like that Horny Head's able to physically possess the Wookiee. So
nice.
Somehow is able to like have all of his Jedi skills and talents, and then attacks Discount Qui-Gon and Self-Deleter. And
so that's the power that is gained when you turn into a Smoke Raven.
I guess.
Cool.
So if that's the case, how did the Darth Mom, I think that's the name we gave her, or the other mom, why did she turn into a Smoke Raven to put out a fire? I'm confused.
To be who you want to be, Pro. That's what I'm getting at.
Didn't they all leave at the same time?
Osha and May.
Look, this is all you guys are misunderstanding. This chick is a total smoke show.
Sorry, excuse me. That got me.
It was a terrible joke. But look, the thing is, we just witnessed the power of many. They were all doing like the seated hula dance, and they were able to take over like stuff.
Right, that's what I thought. I thought that New Baka was being controlled by them.
So I didn't get to that part. So she turns into the Horny Head turns into the Ashy Dementor. It looks like she is possessing the Wookiee, but then a few minutes later, after like in between like the fight scenes, they show all of the witches like swaying like they're part of this ritual, and it looks like they're the ones controlling him. And then eventually, when Trinity shows up, she gives another lecture to Soul, and she saves the day, and then does her forced lobotomy on Kelnaka, and that kills all of the witches.
John, you're a smart guy. Can you explain forced lobotomy?
She puts her hand to the Wookiee's head and concentrates really hard. And then all the witches fall over dead after a significant time of concentration.
So mass constipation was the end of the witches.
But she did not force constipation ritual herself to death like Luke does.
But what I am getting, though, is if you think too hard, you will die.
I still don't understand why. So, like, my biggest question here is why did self-delete? Like, what did he feel guilty over?
I have no idea. I mean, he was standing there and a crazy woman turned into a smoke raven, and he discovered that his lightsaber would kill her, but maybe she shouldn't have turned into a giant smoke raven monster. And
they knew these people were participating in dark and unnatural force activities.
No,
yeah.
He wanted to get home, John. He felt guilty because he cost everybody everything because he wanted to go home. He was home.
Except he fortified himself, though. He force fortified.
Can I ask a serious question here for a minute?
Yes. Oatmeal?
So if I'm understanding this correctly, and I may have the details wrong because this is convoluted.
Thank you.
The Force Raven witch that you're talking about possessed the Wookiee. Is that right?
That's what it looks like, but then she disappears. We never see her again. She's clearly still alive somewhere.
Well,
and then and it's heavily implied that all of these 50 witches who are swaying back and forth were the ones who were controlling the Wookiee.
Okay, What I was going to ask is, who's the one that got stabbed by Torben then?
That was the
one with the big tattoo on her head.
5 head.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Soul was the one who stabbed.
Soul killed her.
Soul stabs her. Yeah, sorry.
Torben has no reason to feel guilty.
Torben doesn't kill anyone.
Right, and he has no
mind.
reason not to use the Bacta tank that's right behind him, by the way, at the end of the episode.
Yeah, Turbine's fine.
Okay. What I was wondering is if it was possible that if he stabbed one of these witches that was involved in controlling all of these people in that ritual, if he could have thought that by stabbing her, that's what caused everybody to die and felt guilt for that. But if he's not the one that stabbed them, then that's not it. Sorry.
Guys, just take a moment. We need to really congratulate Kathleen Kennedy. This is all going swell. Back from 2020, just so we know, we've almost completed the roadmap. Please let it end. Please, we beg of you, let it end after this show.
There's a couple on there that never made it.
No,
what the heck is a droid story?
I want Lando. I mean, not like that. I want a Lando show because I think that'd be terrible.
No, you don't.
I'm good with not getting anything else until this studio closes.
All right.
What else, John? What else? We got anything else in this episode?
Yeah. So there's some. So after the forced lobotomy, we then get the reshot of Soul saving Osha. He's actually using the Force to keep both bridges up. He then chooses to let May fall.
Okay. Let's hold for a second, John, because this was the worst acting, I think, in the entire episode. The two little girls, despite the bridge leaning down and they're going to die, are standing straight up, not even moving their balance because apparently that was too hard for them. And they're literally with one hand barely out going, Osha! May, Osha, May, and that's the extent of the acting there as they're about to fall to their deaths.
Yeah. By the way, all they had to do is take 2 steps back and all good.
Yep. 2 steps back and we don't have to do any of this.
That sounds very contrived, Culture.
My thing or their thing?
Pretty awful.
Your thing.
That goes to the production value again that you're talking about there. Like the physical set was terrible.
John, can we also take a moment to talk about how creepy?
There's the Jaws ride at Universal was better.
John, can we talk about how creepy this was? That Soul meets Osha for maybe 2 seconds in the woods, and he's like, "I sense this is my Padawan," and then I have big connection with this. It was just weird.
I don't know. I didn't actually think it was weird. I thought that was kind of actual like Star Warsy, because I feel like Qui-Gon had that a little with Anakin, so that was kind of what they were going.
He knew Anakin, like he had actually met the kid. This guy let her hold his lightsaber, and it's like, she is the one.
I don't know.
She is where the virgins come from.
I mean, they do imply that the planet has like could be a point of aversions. The Force could be strong there, and so like I don't know. That's kind of I was fine with that.
I thought it was great. The planet's a convection oven for cooking the Force.
Okay, so just because me being me, I'm kind of into the bridges. Why the heck were the girls on the bridges?
Because they
Great
didn't want to
question.
have them in the same scene when they were shooting it on the volume or whatever.
The one girl went down like a garbage chute from her room, and then who knows why May was there.
And May went down like it was a garbage chute later after Soul failed to catch her. So she's got a legit gripe here. You know, since she didn't realize she could walk back 2 steps and be out of harm's way, Soul definitely didn't save her from her own stupidity. But the other one, Osha.
Okay, so
Osha is special.
Soul, I think you said his name is. So Soul, he can't catch a girl, but then in what's it called? Is it Ahsoka? What's her name?
Yeah,
Can,
I was
like,
just about to bring that up.
throw a guy up like within 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Just checking. All right, so that's the episode, right, John? We're done now.
We do have one more thing here because they get back to the ship, and Indara, for good measure, continues to lecture both Soul and Torben, and then she actually physically attacks Soul when he's just like, "I disagree with you," and she like actually like attacks him.
Very
Jedi.
Jedi.
I mean, that's pretty womanly. So
And then
makes sense.
Torben finally like was like, "Master, master, master," and she finally like starts getting control of herself. And then she then instructs the team to lie and tells Soul not to tell Osha the truth.
There's a lot of that on this show.
Yeah.
But you know
It
what? There's
seems
a
like
lot
the
of
norm for them.
Jonas. You know what? There's a lot of
What's that?
super chats.
That's true. There are.
The power
we
of
should read
Mexican
some of
Iron Man inhabits you. The power of Mexican Iron Man inhabits you. All right, Jonas, put those super chats on the screen.
Red Tigress for $10. It's sad when you care more about the Red Queen and the Queen that never was from House of the Dragon than
Hot
any
D.
character in this show. Sad, rest in peace, Star Wars.
Yes, Red Tigress, you are correct.
That's true.
Very.
Ruby Hooves sent in a $3 super sticker. It's not letting me see that super sticker though.
Well, while we enjoy that super sticker, going back to the last comment, is there a single character now that we care about in the show? We used to care about we used to care about Soul, but I don't know that I care about Soul anymore because I don't understand any of his motivations anymore.
What about the big brown beaver? Do we care about that?
It's a fist bump. It's a super sticker that's a fist bump. That's what it is.
Basil? Are you talking about Basil?
Yeah, it's Basil.
Stomps on her foot.
That's
Stomps
right.
on-
He or they.
They them beaver.
Yep.
Them beaver. The beaver.
Mad Annam, member for 5. Pro, when are y'all starting that cooking place?
Soon.
Right after that sewing place. It's on the way. Don't worry. And
That's
that
actually
quilting
kind
place.
of doable.
I know it is.
Yeah.
right?
In Photon Empress, jumping the line here again for $100. I want to call out how impressed I am with Wilton the Troll looking at each Hollywood square as the speaker starts talking, even if the squares move around. That legit takes talent and effort. That's $100 worth of entertainment.
Oh,
wow.
Alone.
We're putting you to the test now. Can you do it?
I feel like we need to play like the Mario music.
But this is why I'm so good at GoldenEye. All that screen watching.
Like
You know what, Wilton? That's the best super chat I think that's ever been sent your way.
Yeah.
Probably
I think you should take a bow, Wilton. Go ahead, Wilton. Give the people what they want.
Okay.
This
well,
is
now I
Like a
can't
bow
look at anyone.
movement of some kind.
Well,
That's
that's
usually
just
what
a
I have
persona.
dealt with.
Well, there we go.
Oh. No.
You know,
Isn't that what you said?
No.
a bowel, Wilton, not a bowel, not a
Oh.
BM.
Gosh, well, you
Take
gotta
it-
clarify some of these things and enunciate kind of like what they do.
One
in
more,
this show.
one more
Talking
attempt
about
for you. One more.
Okay,
attempt.
all right.
Nice.
That's better. That's
Well
better.
done.
That was appropriate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will
All
go.
right.
Great,
Let's
Oh,
see here. By the way, Ruby Hoove, it was a fist bump super sticker. Thank you very much. Mad Adam, member for 5. Pro winning All-Star. Oh, wait, we talked about that already.
We did that.
Pappy G for $5. Off topic, seen a lot of WDW ads about how they hire military, but don't cross the street for a ride to the park.
No. Oh, no. That is a great story. I heard that story today.
What's the story?
Somebody who was, maybe staying at a resort that might cater to military found themselves adversarial with security because they, kind of wanted to cross the street where it seemed logical to cross the street. And yeah, that's not good. See, there's this great resort that caters to the military right next to the parking lot or Polynesian even, at Magic Kingdom. And this person got completely harassed for no reasons. I'm very angry. We need a bridge, but they won't put in a bridge. Do you know why they won't put in a bridge?
Because they hate trolls.
They removed the sidewalks.
That was a good one.
By the way, speaking of things going wrong, I don't know if you guys have heard this. A giant sewage line broke at Disney Springs tonight.
Again?
Near where that's Epcot, near the drone, where the drone showing was, and apparently a lot of people were stepping in raw pouring sewage at Disney Springs.
That's absolutely stinky, Pro.
It stank.
Matthew Johnson, member for 4. Speaking of which, you will do run of poop after party. Your master.
Well, that was a great segue.
That was.
You don't want to run a segue through poop. I don't know if they still have those at Epcot.
Oh,
not even an auger.
Yep.
What?
SFX Sabretooth Raptor for 5. I would rather watch Mexican Iron Man do educational videos on frogs, toads, and turtles than the Aloe-Light.
Wow, you actually did the accent there. That
better than he does.
Dog like this.
Yeah, you're so canceled, bro.
Yo hablo español.
I don't think
Ok, continúa, por favor, Jonas. Necesitamos leer un poquito más.
Sí.
Lo siento, Wilton.
Sí, jefe.
Yo quiero Taco
Direx oficial para $2. Wilton, ¿dónde está mi camiseta autografia? I don't know autograph in Spanish. Wilton, where's my autograph t-shirt?
That's a good question. Wilton, where's Official Dregs? By the way, Official Dregs has been promoting everybody here, so you better send him a t-shirt, Wilton, or I'm going to be mad.
Better.
I need to get one first.
Wilton, I heard you can't even sign things. I heard you don't have the muscular abilities in your.
He can't read. That's the whole point.
He can make his mark though.
Oh, I can definitely.
We saw how that works. Right?
Didn't he just make one?
We heard how that worked. I don't think anybody wants that.
Dustin Sensenig for $2. Only one episode of suffering left. Well,
I
the
look
great
forward to
news
this next flashback with Khmer blowing stuff up in the top of the building.
I don't think that's what I think. You're gonna have like the sexy groove time on the island of lost toys.
No. You guys don't realize you're gonna actually learn who the Sith bad guy is, and it's gonna be Pelagius.
Naked Pelagius.
Plagius?
No, the plagiarizing.
Or plagiarist?
I have thoughts on that.
Lauren, share your thoughts.
Thank God.
So the episode, this one was a flashback. This is back to the time when they initially encountered the twins, right? So that's why Indara is alive in this episode.
Yes.
Correct.
However, do we have any hints that Indara is still alive in the future?
No, she got killed.
Killed in the first episode.
You think she's been killed? I don't think she's been killed.
No. They say that she murdered several people, right?
That's why she's alive. Last man standing.
He was killed.
You know that unknown planet last week?
Yeah, not Octo.
I know. Do you know what planet it is?
Well, let's see. The last one was Brendek. So is this one going to be Karina?
It's Baldemnik. Baldemnik is a planet that was in the Darth Plagueis novel that was basically used by Darth Tenebris, and Plagueis was aware of it, where they took a great interest in most of the landmass of the planet because they could mine cortosis. And in the beginning of that novel, you have Darth Plagueis Darth Tenebrous with 2 apprentices, Darth Plagueis, and one who is a pretender called Darth Venomous. And they were both, Darth Tenebrous and Darth Venomous were both Biff in the novel. But my suspicion here is that they're going to swap out Indara for Darth Plagueis and Quimir for Darth Venomous.
Well,
See,
that's a
I
heck
told ya.
That's a heck of a prognostication for what's coming.
Okay. I need a timeout.
Culture.
So, Lorne, because you're the expert here, I have to ask. So, Darth Zipperface,
Smilo.
Gimp,
I'm here.
Darth
Quimir.
Gimp, whatever, Queermore. Yeah, this Queermore guy, he actually is on Unknown Planet. Is it possible that Unknown Planet is the planet you just described?
That's exactly what it is. In fact, the description of the
How did you
planet in
miss
the
that?
novel, the description of the novel and the planet is exactly as you described it. It is a island-style place that has. It does have some hostile natives that you didn't describe from the last episode.
We didn't see him.
But
Well, it's a small island. He
but
cleared
again,
those out.
I think they're changing some details, but I'm betting that you're going to find that Indara is Plagueis, and I'm betting that they're probably doing away with Darth Tenebrous, but that Quimir will be Darth Venomous.
That one.
Yep, that's the one.
Professor R2, member for 3. The stupid is strong with this one. I like that
Well,
avatar,
wait.
though.
Wait until we show you what is coming out of Paul Tassi now before you start saying the stupid
jeez.
is strong. Just get ready.
What is he saying now?
I didn't read this one.
We'll bring it up in just a moment. Don't worry.
Tomislav Mihailov for €2. Worst writing ever. There are some productions that are so bad that they're good. And for me, there's only been one that has been so bad it's good. Either make it good or make it so bad it's entertaining. And this isn't even that. So JRG Projects for $20. I am currently listening to the Darth Bane audiobook, and it honestly presents the Sith as sympathetic. This was during the New Sith Wars. The Jedi were legitimately not the heroes we know them as, nor was the Republic.
So
I don't know.
The only thing,
this was obviously written by a Sith.
well, the only thing I would say here is that having these witches who are the masters of these dark magics and bringing forth creatures and splitting their consciousnesses into 2 different bodies, I have a hard time seeing them as the sympathetic, good characters that Leslye wants them to be. I'll just say that. And also, if you just murdered everyone that a young lady knows and then kidnap her to an island, it's just hard for me to buy into her being like, you know what? You're kind of attractive now to me. Hard to buy it.
I kind of like the whole idea that was in the chat there that this should be called Planet D's Nutsus.
My name is Pita99 for $4.99. Been watching content for the past 2 months. Glad I found this channel. The Acolyte is garbage, and the credit music was awful. Yeah, they actually wrote a pop song and put it in the credits this time.
Actually,
really not good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now we know where the budget went.
Yep.
Was it the same one as the one they played in Gladiator 2? The trailer for Gladiator 2?
I haven't watched that one yet.
Oh,
I've heard that's a slog.
Oh, dude, Gladiator's looking rough. It's almost as rough as this, but this is rougher.
Oh, dear.
More rough.
You know what? I just realized something. Amandla, who did that wonderful rap in 72 Hours or whatever it was, she was not in this episode. She also was not in episode 3. How often is it that your star young woman is missing from 1/4 of the episodes in your show?
Her character was
interesting.
In there, at least.
Her character, she's not there.
I should say. Yeah.
They identified the weakness in the show.
Ren Garcia for $5. Can we all
Did you
agree
read that last super chat, or
former-
did you just click on it?
No, I read it. Can we all agree that the former assistant to Mr. Harvey Weinstein has created the funniest show since John Borman's Exorcist 2, The Heretic?
I had a good laugh when all the witches collapsed all at once in unison,
and they
from
turned into
forced thread constipation.
so like she's there, and like her daughter's there, and she wants to send her to summer camp, but she doesn't want to tell them that she's going to summer camp, so she turns into a space raven out of black dust. Anyhow, Jeremy Winfield, member for 12. Heh, I caught a live stream on my born day. Sweet.
Wow,
Congratulations.
congrats.
Happy birthday.
Oh, somebody sing.
Birthday to you.
Go ahead, Randy.
Birthday to you.
To you.
You know it's not going to work if we try to sing together.
Jeremy.
That's not how.
Don't
That's not how singing
Happy
works.
birthday to
Don't do
you.
And Mandy Moore, Ken Reihard for $2. Did
Looks
the
like
episode
he joined
set off
on his birthday.
Dot's
Once.
Virgin's alarm? Oh, really? That's cool.
Potentially.
Also, for the record, we should never sing again. We lost 15 subscribers in those 12 seconds.
Sorry.
Please don't do that.
Ken Reihard for $2.
Instead of listening to us, maybe Vacation Radio.
Dot's Virgin's alarm.
Well played. Good
I'm
plug.
going to say this one more time.
Say what?
Ken Reihard for $2. Did the episode set off Dot's Virgin's alarm?
Did the episode set off Dot's Virgin's alarm? That's how
We're
it
looking for a virgin's.
You
So
know what?
weird.
A lot of men
weird.
these days. A lot of men these days are.
Ah, so weird.
Just not one that young. Enrique Vasquez for $5. Maybe we should convince Disney that we want it on disc and just not buy it. Let them waste more money. Jonas, have you seen Haikyuu yet? It is a good palate cleanser. I would like to pay attention when I watch it. So no, I have not watched it yet. I'm trying to think what the last thing I watched was. Oh, well, Despicable Me 4. And that was obviously I watched that with the kids. So yeah.
There you go. All right, Jonas. Well, we're going to hold on those super chats. We'll come back to more in just a few. We want to welcome in someone who is going to enjoy, I think, this next topic we've got about the Acolyte. Folks, please welcome from That Park Place and from At That Pod Place, known here as T3PO, the one, the only, the sleepless himself, Vash Sky.
Hello there. Thank you so much for having me on. There you go, right there. Yes, I know. It shouldn't be associated with the show, but I just can't help it. Man, oh man, was that a terrible episode with the weirdest deliveries. Did anybody catch, like, the horny head chick? Her deliveries
See, it's a thing now, horny head. We made it. It's there.
Horny head is different than what was said. That's all I'm going to say.
What did I say?
Bro said horny head, and then Culture had something that went over the line.
Well, he went like five adjectives.
Not over the line. That was not over the line.
I personally felt that hornification was too far, Culture. That was my opinion.
Look, Star Wars has been hornified.
Oh boy. All right, folks, let's talk about what's going on, though, in the way that the coverage is happening. This is out of Forbes, and this is by Paul Tassi. And we're going to take Paul Tassi to Tasky. He's not going to like it, but that's what happens when IQ of a high level is landed on this lampooning of the fan base and of the YouTubers out there. This is the Forbes article. Again, Paul Tassi, the author. He's the new Scott Mendelson. Professional Acolyte haters fall for fake Rotten Tomatoes controversy. Paul is going to take a victory lap around these poor buffoons. Let's see how he does. Paul says, and by the way, folks, as we get into this, remember that Paul is writing over at Forbes. He's already made angry some of his colleagues over there. And Paul is writing about a failed show. We're covering a failed show, but we know what we're doing. We know what we're up to. Paul doesn't realize it's failed yet. It's not even going to make the Nielsen charts in the last couple of episodes. And so we're literally covering something that the only merit it has in coverage is how far down this franchise has fallen. But that Paul doesn't realize that. That's the joke that we all get. Says it's very depressing to see an entire industry created to hate on various pieces of a supposedly woke media. In other words, Paul is frustrated that people have opposing points of view and that those points of view, which he opposes, have viewership. He doesn't like that. But we have not seen anything like the manufactured outrage devoted to the Acolyte, except Paul with The Last Jedi, which I'm sure you would also say is manufactured. Disney Plus's new Star Wars series set long before the most well-known era. Now, those making their online existence about hating the Acolyte have leapt on an absolutely non-existent controversy, spread by a number of high-profile Twitter accounts, including the 2.6 million follower having End Wokeness. There was an idea passed around that Rotten Tomatoes had hidden or erased the 25,000 user scores that had bombed the Acolyte, every single one of them, folks. All 25,000, they're bombers, they're not real, they're not actual reviews. That's Paul Tassi. No evidence necessary. Don't look behind the curtain, darn it. But that was down to a 14% rating, lower than any Star Wars project in history, including the infamous holiday special. This, of course, did not happen, says Paul Tassi. Shortly after this made the rounds, the score was back. which, by the way, if it was gone and then it came back, then it means it happened. Paul, make it make sense, man. If it didn't happen, then how did it come back? I digress, just like Paul. The worst thing that happened here was a brief technical glitch. Now, Paul has no evidence of that. Of course, he didn't reach out to Rotten Tomatoes. At least he doesn't say so in the article. The kind of which frequently happens on Rotten Tomatoes, especially with these score listings. Oh, it happens all the time, folks. No evidence needed. Don't look behind the curtain. Darn you. But those eager to find any possible fault with the show or defense of it leapt on the screenshots. I counted, Paul did, at least a dozen YouTube videos made about the score deletion in the hours after these posts started to be spread. In other words, Paul discovered that when the scores disappeared, people began to comment on the scores disappearing. But it's not actually true because the scores came back, and that somehow negates the fact the scores disappeared. Good job,Ul.
But
Many of these.
That's 12. If I'm not mistaken, correct? He found 12 thumbnails with manufactured 25,000 reviews of outrage.
In a million YouTube videos that were put out. I don't know the exact number, folks, in a day. Paul found 12. Good job, Wilton. Well played.
Thank you.
Now, let me say, okay, so he's got Josiah Rising. And by the way, he doesn't actually credit these people in their thumbnails, which I think is journalistic malpractice.
Oh, he's a jerk, man. He never puts my thumbnails on there. What a jerk.
Yeah, and then he says, I've seen people then say, well, how do you know they didn't just delete it and put it back up? Then he says, well, because they would not delete something for like an hour, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't have he's just speculating here. He hasn't done any real journalism. He's not reached out to Rotten Tomatoes to ask anything about it. Now, down here, this is the one that I find fascinating because he comes out and he says that these are driving hundreds of thousands of views. And the only reason he's right is because this thumbnail, I knew this style immediately when I saw it. This is Mike Zero. This is a Mike Zero thumbnail. Now, folks, I'm not here to disparage Mike Zero. I'm not going to do that. But I understand that Mike Zero is doing a different style of content than what many of the YouTubers that cover these things that they're doing. Mike Zero is covering a tabloid-esque kind of way, right?
Fanfic.
You don't watch Mike Zero and immediately go, that's what's going on. It's a different genre.
You are so kind.
But Tassie,
that is an incredibly
nice
way of putting that, Pro.
Thank you. I'm doing my best. So Tassie wants to conflate. This is the attempt. Tassie wants to conflate everyone who dislikes the Acolyte with Mike Zero style coverage. That's the effort of this article. And I just want to say again to Paul, because he doesn't understand this apparently, you are defending a dead show. You are laying yourself on the line over at Forbes. You are Scotty Mendelsoning yourself over a show that will not appear on the Nielsen charts after about episode 5 because of how little interest there is. Do not lay yourself upon the tracks, Paul, for this one. You should not do that. Anyway.
Now, here's the question for him. Because if this is one of those things where guys like all of you are manufacturing content based on what they're doing, if the show is good, I posit that you would also be manufacturing content. But I question, would he be caring?
It's almost as if we cover the good and the bad, and Disney just puts out a lot of bad lately. I see Lorne. I see a thought percolating out. What do you got, Lorne?
I was just going to say, posit's an awfully fancy word for a troll.
You
Wilton,
really
explain
don't know
yourself.
Well, you guys obviously don't know what I'm
He
capable
did finish 3rd grade. I heard that. I saw the little drawing with the 5 stars that his teacher gave him. Now, past 3rd grade, different story.
Like
Culture, you look different over there. What are you up to?
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for your kind support. Now, we all know that over at Disney Star Wars right now, they have some real problems. And, you know, I appreciate that you guys follow the channel for your latest Disney Star Wars content. But in the latest USB that I found in the parking lot in a In-N-Out Burger located in Santa Barbara, California, I can tell you right now that we know for sure that Disney is struggling behind the scenes with Star Wars. It's mainly Kathleen Kennedy's fault, and we don't have any other reason to blame anybody else, including Paul Tassi, who says ridiculous stuff over at Forbes just to try to cover other people's asses.
Thank you. I have never heard Mike say that word.
Well, I don't think that Mike is going to get along with Paul very soon. John, you're in the news business. I think I've heard that before. What are your thoughts on the defense of this Rotten Tomatoes story, as if it's not a story, but simultaneously somehow confirming it was a story in the article? I mean, what are the mental gymnastics happening here?
Guy's a clown. He's literally just doing that to try and generate clicks. He's trying to be anti-woke to generate clicks, and that's all it is. He has his opponents. He's marked them, and he's going to try and do everything he can to attack them. Unfortunately for him, he's dishonest. He's now exposed himself as a liar, and people that do that, bad things usually happen to them. And
wait a minute, John. That's a major claim, and you're talking about Paul Tassi, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you say that he is a professional fibber. John, why do you say that claim? What's the evidence for it?
I think he's right there. That article, he's saying that it's fake, and it clearly isn't. It clearly
happened.
The audience
people covered it.
Weird. Yes.
Well, to be fair, if I'm going to play my conjecture card, now the idea here would be that we're also assuming, correct, that Rotten Tomatoes hid that number at Disney's request. Not that we're not saying it's unprecedented, because it's not like this hasn't happened before, but I don't know where to go from there.
That was as far as the third grade education could take him.
Yep.
I didn't actually go to the site when this was happening, but I did see you guys talking about it. And my understanding was that you could still see the score if you went to a section that was labeled Season 1, right?
Correct.
So if that's the case, then it wasn't a technical glitch, because the data was still there and accessible. You just had to go somewhere else to find it.
And it was happening on a number of Star Wars shows.
It moved from the place that it has always been to a different place. So,
Well, that happens. Like rivers.
It could have been as easily as they take it down, people respond to it, and then it's like, oh, well, let's put that back up. You could have seen it that way as well, but obviously Paul Tassi.
For all we know, it's Dave the intern, right? It's who we don't know what happened, but it happened, and people covered it, and then there was a change, and they went back to the normal. Okay, but the idea that it didn't happen, as Paul Tassi is saying, it's some kind of that's some sort of lampooning of reality when you come out and you say, well, it happened, but then it was unhappened, and therefore it did not happen at all, and therefore these people who I don't agree with are not allowed to cover the news. Now, and then to bring in the Mike Zero thing, Paul Tassi's not a complete moron. He may be twisting the truth here, but he's at least knowledgeable enough to understand that the major YouTube channels and Mike Zero are not one and the same. And I think it's a purposeful conflation there. Before we go any further, though, I want to get Lauren's thoughts on the episode. Lauren, I know you've got to go here in a little bit, and before you go, Lauren, I want to find out, in your vast knowledge of Star Wars, when we were talking about witches turning into smoke bird creatures, is this something that we have ever heard of before in Star Wars lore? Is this part of the Night Witch's portfolio of magical abilities? What is this?
Well, not like that, but the thing that did occur to me, and this is something that we've talked about before, was Abeloth. And that Abeloth, when she was still confined in her prison in the Maw, had infected the minds of Jedi Padawans that had been hidden in the Maw cluster, and sort of infected their minds in that way to seek her out. So there is some level of mind control associated with Abeloth, and so these particular witches may be associated with her. I still think that there's going to be some kind of a tie going back to Ahsoka, because I believe they want to introduce that character. I don't know for sure if that's going to happen. This is just speculation on my part, same as the Endara thing with Darth Plagueis. But it feels to me like they are trying to reach into the EU, and I saw some people saying in the comments, it's like that I'm giving them too much credit. Not really. What I think that they're doing is they're trying to pull stuff out to act as a shield, but also to corrupt what went before. I think they're just hacks. I think they know that this will upset us. It will generate controversy in the news. All news is good news. If people are talking about it, even if they're mad, that gets people talking, and it generates publicity. I think that's all they're doing. I think they're just hacks. And so that's the only thing that I can think of that would be analogous to that level of mind control, would be Abeloth. So take it as you will.
Well, we know they're hacks.
Sorry.
Yeah, we know they're hacks. We know they're they can't think of an original thought with any of what they do, right? And if you listen to Leslye Headland, she's very derivative of other works. It's like, oh, I want to have this actress in here because she was X-23, and wouldn't it be cool to have her with a lightsaber? Or look at this, gotta stick a lightsaber in a Wookiee's hand, and oh, I like KOTOR, and I want to bring that to life, and so she incorporates those ideas in here. It's very derivative. There's really no original thought. I mean, I'll give Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau credit. At least, some of their ideas were, at the very least, original. Well, they obviously took a lot from the EU and so forth, but with Leslye Headland here, it's so funny. Their stories make no sense. It's just like Culture said before, just because plot. Like, for example, even in this episode, it's what is it? The White Guilt and Soul. They both want the children, right? They both try to speeder bikes, terrible. But they both try to seek out the children for like no reason. But it's like, oh, because plot. These things have to occur in order to move the story forward. And it's so apparent that this is what they're trying to do. Okay, so Lauren, the ability to, I don't know, what did we describe it before? The ability to what is it, teleport or become a mist or whatever, has that been associated with any
Raven?
Witches?
Smoke Raven. That's what we're going with.
Yeah, Smoke Raven.
Spell of Smoke Raven.
Well, this is a different coven of witches than what we've seen before. What we've seen before were the Night Sisters,
right.
And
they bring that up by the way too.
You do see. I mean, I question whether it's teleportation. My read on it has always been that the Night Sisters' primary power is illusion, and so
I see. Okay,
I don't know for sure if it's teleportation that we see, but the best example that you could see is Merrin in the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games.
Okay. Well, it's weird because when the one gal goes Smoke Raven, it seemed like May was being affected by it too, and that's why Soul pulled out his lightsaber and was like looking to stop that. I thought
she
that
was
a
going
detail.
to go save May. Like she literally was going to like Smoke Raven and like move there to go save her.
But how?
Right,
She wasn't even in danger.
Who knows?
Smoke Ravens put out fire, by the way. That's
because plot.
It's a
Soul has to do this thing. It's so stupid.
It's a callback to Smallville. Somebody save me. I don't care how you do it.
Well, that's the thing too. So I was gonna say before that horny head chick right there. The deliveries on their lines were so terrible. I mean, you remember the run or whatever, and then fight me. It's just like, what is? That was the best read you got out of her. I mean, the direction is.
By the way, here we finally found it.
Go.
See, Ashley Mentor. Accurate.
We finally found it. I'm telling you, it took forever to find this because nobody has actually talked about the Acolyte.
That's
I agree.
Okay, wait, and that's Soul?
I mean, to me too, right?
He stabs the air and direct shot straight in the heart.
But okay, and then she just immediately comes back.
She should be okay.
She
The law
immediately turns back into a person so that she can be stabbed.
The law of
Why would
Sabine
she do
says
that?
she's fine.
Turning into dust would make a person, invulnerable.
Let's watch
to
again.
a lightsaber.
Little girl very gently is crying at a doorway. Crazy horny head gets ready for battle. And she takes a deep breath like, oh, man, I got to go give her a hug. I'm going to turn into a terrifying Smoke Raven monster and shoot towards her like I'm going to capture her body. And then this Jedi, who will later suffer through tremendous PTSD, strikes the smoke straight in the heart and does what Sabine apparently can survive through, but this woman cannot.
I'm not going to lie. That's really bad editing.
Soul thinks that's OSHA too.
Yes, because he can't see the giant forehead tattoo, which they had already talked about in the scene prior, which then also means that in the later episode, chronologically, when he doesn't see the giant forehead tattoo, he is an imbecile.
So are they supposed to be identical twins in the show, and to us, we can see that they're two separate actresses, or how is that working?
We've been over this. They're the same consciousness in two different physical bodies, and no, don't question if that makes any sense whatsoever. It's not that kind of show, Vash. Logic, not necessary. You know what is necessary, though?
Super
a proper
chats.
outro. No, proper outro.
Oh.
Lauren has done such a great job of helping us understand
He can't
what would be
leave.
going on
He's
in a
got
logical
super
show.
chats.
You know what? In that case, bring them on the screen. Let's go.
All right, now I have to find the ones that are actually specifically for Lauren.
What you can't tell is Lauren is flipping us off under the camera.
Lauren.
He's like, I told you guys to let me out of here.
Hold on. There's congratulations. Hey, Lauren, have you seen the Time Bandits teaser? Feoda says for 11 months there. Guys, check out the terrible Time Bandits teaser.
Yeah, I actually did see it earlier this afternoon. I'm reserving judgment. I don't know what to think of it.
Fair enough. Real life fake wizard for $199. Lauren,
Power to the
you're giving
$199.
them too much credit.
I thought we went over this.
Yeah, I addressed that. I don't, my speculations are my speculations. I could be completely wrong myself. But I do think
seriously,
that
how wrong have you been wrong?
Hey,
Well,
he hit cortosis right at the gate before anybody else.
He
did,
was
so
faster than
I trust
anybody
him.
else on the web, flat out.
Like
Mhm.
we didn't even we described it and didn't even say what it was, and it was there.
He was like, did it look like a red powdery substance, and did it float in the air in this particular way? Yes, cortosis. That's what it is.
Born accuracy test.
I just suspect that they're interested in corrupting what's there. Part of it is also because, and I have to be a little bit fair to them, that you could never adapt all of these full-length novels into a live medium like a movie or a show. It's just there's too much, and so without trying to get into a giant history lesson on everything, you have to try and simplify it for an audience if you're going to show it. But they've gone way too far. You can't introduce something like cortosis and then think that you can explain that in the next episode. That's something that you should be, dropping some little seeds so that you can kind of put together what's going on.
In episode 1, maybe say, we must be very careful. He may have cortosis helmet that is used to bash lightsaber.
I mean, I do it as
He's
simple
not
as
an Indian in a 1950s serial.
I was trying to think of what's the name of the chief from
They're on a
Pocahontas?
backwater planet. They're on a backwater planet or something like that, and they encounter like a smuggler has it, and it messes with their lightsaber, and so you have something like that, so they're like aware of it.
I mean, I think that you could just show like a minor mining operation with these guys hanging around it, and you don't have
It's
to. Really
Leslye
call it out
Headland. It would have a
everything.
giant sign that says Cortosis Mining Company on it.
All right. Lauren's got to get
Not
out of
even
here
a
at some
basic.
point. Steve C, member for 13. Only seen one. I recommend Mazes and Monsters. Is that the Tom Hanks movie?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Jonas, we're supposed to be doing super chats just for Lauren. That's the whole reason. He's got to get out of
there's
here. What is
several
this?
Lauren ones in a sequence, so I was just saying this
sorry.
was
I apologize.
for Lauren.
Sorry.
Also, Lauren is the only one that is confirmed that he knew what Mazes and Monsters was, other than me. So
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Thank you very much. Go and Shogi for $4.99. The internet needs a Lauren versus Ryan Kinnell Star Wars trivia challenge, a battle between the light and the lesser informed dark.
That would have to be
Lauren,
really hard.
do it for the children, Lauren.
He's a poser.
Whoa! Lauren dropping
fired.
the heat.
Shots
Nice.
fired.
Monsters fired.
Ryan?
Is that the name of your diss track that you'll be coming out with?
Yeah, we'll put his face on it just like they did for the other one.
Right?
Keep an eye on the
it has to be
chat, folks,
thumbnail
in
with
case
his face.
Ryan's out there.
No,
I'm
it has to be
kidding.
Ryan's face on the thumbnail,
That's
just
perfect.
dropping the F asterisk
I'm
asterisk
kidding.
asterisk.
Yeah, I'm kidding, Ryan. He'd kick my butt, but it would be fun.
I don't know about
For the
that.
children.
Tennille 89 for 10. Lauren can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Jedi in the New Sith Wars were compelled by the circumstances of war to be more pragmatic and ruthless, but they were still protectors. They were plenty heroic.
Right, and actually, I agree with that take. Remember that during this period, you had lots of Sith and lots of Jedi, and they had been at war with each other for a very long time. The war had ground into kind of this stalemate, and it had just devastated the galaxy until they came together on Rusan. And the structure of the Jedi was a little bit different at that point, too. This kind of goes into a lot of the lore that had been created here was done before the prequels came out, and so we didn't really know about the Jedi Council and how the structure of the Jedi organization worked. During the Old Republic, you had Jedi Wardens who would be responsible for entire planets or sectors, and a master who would take multiple apprentices, and they would be responsible for a certain region. And so you had this kind of a loose affiliation in the Army of Light and the Army of Darkness that clashed on Rusan. Darth Bane took his opportunity to say, well, look, part of the problem here is that there's so many of us. We're kind of dividing this power because we're bureaucratic. We're not really acting strong and making decisions. So maybe the smart way to go is to just only have a couple of us. And he came up with the concept of one to possess the power and the other to crave it, and the succession plan of how the Sith would continue on in hiding so the Jedi wouldn't detect them. So he discovered an ancient ritual called the Thought Bomb that then decimated the armies on a battlefield on Rusan, trapped their spirit essences there. That later became the Valley of the Jedi that Kyle Katarn seeks out in the Dark Forces and Jedi Knight games. But the Jedi believed that everybody had been wiped out and that the Sith were extinct, and they weren't seen again for another 1,000 years, at least until the Acolyte came along.
So you're telling me that Ryan Kinnell knows all that better than you do?
You'd have to ask him.
This is why we have Lauren.
Modest. Let's see. I don't see Lauren's name in here, although obviously his spirit still lingers on.
So that's
we knew him well. Oh, wait, he's still here. Yes.
Hey, who's Ulick Keldroma?
I'm sorry?
Who's Ulick Keldroma?
Oh, very powerful Jedi Master, right?
Yeah,
who
actually,
stealing the answer there, stealing the question.
Well, yeah, and
I was going to say very powerful Jedi Master myself, but now that
more like Lou Sky.
He's referencing KOTOR multiple times. Sorry,
I was just going to say it was a punk, but whatever.
Yeah. Ulick Keldroma was well, there were two brothers. There was Ulick and Kay Keldroma, who apprenticed under Master Arca. They were from the Old Republic period. In fact, some of the first story arcs and tales of the Jedi.
I thought I was going deep lore, but like 3 people on the panel knew who that was, so I'm just going to be quiet now.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the trivia stuff and the one that I biffed last week, John, I don't know if you found from the chat, other people had mentioned it. Boba Fett's rifle is an EE3.
Okay, there we go.
Lauren, before you go, I want you to watch all these witches go down in force constipation or thread constipation.
Oh, this is so good. Embiggen.
In the common room, the witches all collapse.
wait, there's audio. Oh, it's got the
audio description.
It's got the audio and an edit for humor, folks. We'll have to check it to make sure before we play that because it could be copyright from something else. They're down, and Mama Odie goes down hard. Watch Mama Odie again. I love this.
Wait, so that's how
dig
they
a little
die?
deeper.
Yeah.
Because Indara clears them out of his mind, and then they just die.
Well, I don't think. Did we get confirmation that they died?
You know, we got to watch it again. It's too
Do
great.
you think they're sleeping?
Man, take a
No,
nap.
they're dead.
Well,
No, they're
they
dead.
never check on
They're
the
dead
bodies. Soul leaves the bodies there again. Doesn't check any of them.
They're dead.
No, guys, you have to realize that is a perfect.
All right, Lauren's on board now. Lauren sees what we're dealing with every week.
Force lobotomy. It's a force lobotomy. I told you.
Guys, no.
No, that is force. That's force nap.
Folks, this is why you're here. This is why you come to these after parties, to see somebody witness what we watched and lose it.
No,
Lord.
guys, you
know what?
This is it's a gold mine when you get super chats, right? You get a big super chat, and everyone's just like, just like that. See?
All I hear is the Pac-Man sound. Like,
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
You know what's going through my head when I see that? I think it's better without sound, because all I could think of was, you don't write. You say.
They say we have no fun. We're just haters, folks. We love we love watching particular clips of this show.
Oh,
This is the best part of the whole show right here is the after party. That's it.
That's
I
right.
mean, that's it.
Truly Talking Dead after this episode. All right, Lauren, we will not hold you any longer, but we're happy to get a good laugh out of you. And Lauren, thank you for being here to be our encyclopedia, all things Star Wars, the unwoke Wikipedia that you are.
You bet. Have a great time, guys. See you later.
See you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
You're so great.
Okay, but here's the thing. John shared the same clip, but with the audio description.
I still think that's the best.
That's the clip that Pro shared.
His
yeah, we're not going to play the audio just in case it's from another copyrighted thing. That's the problem.
Okay.
Now, Wilton, I know you've got to go as well. So, Wilton.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I have been so nice to you tonight.
Okay.
Here I am, like, pushing super chats for you.
That's true.
And saying, like, hey, we should do those things. I try to help you out, and now you're all bitter and angry.
I mean, it's been like a whole year, Wilson.
So?
You think you're going to make up for it in like a half hour of not being a jerk?
Have you not followed Star Wars writing? We
Wilton,
can resolve things within 30 seconds. What?
Wilton, before you go,
Yeah.
Before you go, Wilton, we just want to play one of your highlights, though. And yes, folks, this is what you call carpal tunnel. We want to play one of your highlights, Wilton, real quick. So the folks out there, if they're not yet subscribed to Floral from Under a Rock, they will hopefully do so very, very soon. All right, here we go.
Here, this is a Tamagotchi. It'll be the best way to date in like 10,000 years. You hatch it and feed it. Don't shake it when it's a baby. And if you neglect it for a week, it'll die. It's fairly realistic. And just remember, that giant clump of blocks that looks like an amorphous blob with wide shoulders and an Adam's apple is actually a woman. People just can't and won't be able to tell the difference anymore.
This turn into woman?
Yep. In the future.
Beautiful, beautiful Wilton. We want to thank you for having been here and for clearly having patched up all your differences with Jonas in a single evening.
Clearly.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It has been an honor.
And Wilton, the next time you're on, brush the tuft, please, sir. Brush the tuft.
What do you mean, brush the tuft?
Between your pectoralis muscles that maybe one day will be.
I know, but it's just naturally.
Just a little. Look at culture. Look what culture does. He
All
knows how to come on with a
Why would you expect me to do that? I mean,
get him out of here. All right, folks. It's time to hit those super chats. Jonas, give us about a dozen of these, and then we're going to go to our next story about the Acolyte. That is, has to do with the media freakout that is taking place as we speak.
Butterbiscuit for 5. You guys are all over the place, and I can't follow. I'm going to say that John did a pretty good job of it, but yeah, I get it. Please repeat what happens after the council can't train them. Please help us follow along first. The council is not in this episode. They've referenced the council several times.
It's all off screen. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
And that's why you can't follow. We can't either, because they don't tell the important parts, like what actually made the twins who are not really twins. What actually made those? Oh, you're not going to know. I'm sorry. When did you learn the spell of Smoke Raven, and what does it do? Oh, I'm sorry. You're not going to know. What did the council actually say? Oh, we're sorry. We're not going to tell. Sorry, it's not that kind of show.
Could you imagine if we didn't have Lauren? We would be lost.
We would definitely be lost without Lauren.
We'd be lost on Baltemnek.
Is that the name of that?
He's definitely wrong about Trinity, though.
John, I'll tell you this, though. When Lauren was giving us the review of the planets, I was amazed at how good the planets from back when Star Wars was normal, the names of those planets, like Rousseau or Roussan or whatever it was, and now we've got Brendak. And it's just like, good grief.
Brendak. SFX Sabertooth Raptor for 5. This is not entertaining. Through Mexican Iron Man, I would not like it. Him in an elf costume would be more entertaining.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
That's right.
On cue.
Prowler FPS for $10. What if we all just watched episodes 4, 5, and 6 on Disney Plus and brought up the viewership numbers so drastically that it dwarfs all this garbage? Oh, as in Star Wars and Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Right,
For just a second, I thought you were
original
suggesting episodes 4, 5, and 6 of the Acolyte.
I thought Prowler was wanting us to try to attempt to get a season 2 greenlit. And I was going to say, I know why you want to punish the world with that, but let's not. I don't want to set the world on fire.
Most movies are the special editions, though.
I want to say this, Pro. That's my favorite song on the radio stations in Fallout 4.
Oh, it's got to be the
Is
best.
that where everybody learned that song? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real song from like the 20s or 30s, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah. And like if you played games, Jonas, you would know that. You know, I thought you were on a gaming channel.
You should play games sometimes.
Yeah,
What song is it? What is it from? BioShock, Fallout?
The one from
Fallout 4.
Pong. Yeah,
Fallout 4.
The
Yeah,
one from
sorry,
Pong.
I'm dedicated to my that was a part of my life where I was spending a lot of time in Tamriel. So, anyways,
wow,
JRG
you're-
projects for $5.
Elder Scrolls.
Yep, most of these Jedi look like DEI hires. Disney forgot to tell us the High Republic would be a reflection of their own failing company. That would actually be pretty impressive if Bob Iger turned into a smoke raven.
Oh,
I think you should do that on the next call. If he even
I still
goes-
don't understand why any of these people feel guilty about anything. I don't understand any of it.
Yep. Who knows? Who knows why they self-deleted?
Yep.
Easy now.
There's kind of a high stakes Scott's Tots going on here.
He wanted to go back to Coruscant for cakes, for Little Debbie's, and because of that, he's been floating in the air for 13 years,
You guys,
battling away wiffle bats with the Force.
How did he get the scars? How wouldn't that happen? By the way?
From Kelnaka.
Vash, it's not that kind of show.
Who knows? It just happened.
And he
For-
refused to get
Yeah.
his face healed.
Yeah, well, and that, and you know, what's like slightly less gay Ezra Miller, he has plenty of scars. He did not enter a back to tank either. So I'm like, were they not available, or you know?
No, so it actually makes sense for the Sith because like pain leads to hatred and anger, so it'd, like make him stronger, and it could also like remember it. Maybe he like thinks about it, thinks about the pain.
It would
I
like
don't
make
know.
him stronger. Culture.
Yeah.
You just
Okay.
don't even get it.
That's so super. Okay, I'll work on
PTSD
that.
can give you real scars in real life. I heard about that. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
That's super.
god.
Oh, it wasn't a lightsaber whip because that would be super.
God, you think that's okay? Question: we have one more episode.
Okay.
Did we literally just get the lightsaber whip to kill a bug?
Yep.
Or is
Yes.
that is Nepo is Jedi Master Nepo going to whip that thing out in the end?
I literally have no idea what they're going to do in this next episode because there's a bunch of like.
I'm
things-
scared.
nothing.
It might be 2 hours of nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
scared.
That's what I would
No,
think. It's
don't
gonna be
say
it's
that.
gonna be a movie. It's
It's
gonna
gotta
be.
be.
Oh, dude, it's got to be a movie because there is nothing anywhere close to wrapping it up.
All right.
mean-
Speaking of which, Cyrano 2960 for $5.
Be a
Please make it
romance.
stop. Jaws 4 plot where the shark beats them to the Bahamas makes more sense than this.
I had a joke. And I wasn't allowed to do it.
Go ahead, Culture.
No,
I've
you
ruined
really
it.
don't want it. You don't want this smoke, baby. You don't want it. Not on this show.
In more ways than one, we don't want
Yeah.
the smoke. To
Yeah.
Neil 89 for $5. The characters have a great chemistry in the sense that I hope they get dissolved in acid. I've seen stacked chairs with more spark and presence.
Me, Usha, me, Usha.
Mama!
They didn't even poison them using the Bunta tree. Like, at least make it poetic. Like, at least I wanted at least one person to die. From
What
poison.
is the point of the stupid tree? I thought in the flashback we'd find out what the tree is for. The tree has better acting than they do.
Mm-hmm.
More
Johnny,
interesting.
for $2.
Mother
after-
Willow has better acting.
After the Acolyte comes Oye Primos. Pain goes on. Yeah, I did see there's a preview for Primos, but I've also heard they've improved that show. I'm not holding my breath, but it looks a little bit better than the first preview.
What is this? What is that?
Animated show on Disney Plus. Primos about cousins. Tanil 89 for $5. Save some time. Just make the review a replay of poor Culture's look of dismay, and that it's sum it up as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Culture texted me a few times during the show, and I was having the better experience. I was taking the trash out in the rain.
Dude, I was like, this is awful. This is awful. This is no. Oh,
here we go.
Bad.
Really the best of all the episodes we've watched.
That into a GIF, Jonas. When you should have had your wife record that and turn it into a GIF. Take the trash out in the rain, like the guy drags trash out and throws it away, like the garbage GIFs.
No, from Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yeah, that was such a great one. Yeah.
Real life fake wizard for 199. This is what Turban unaligned himself over. Yeah,
Turban. Sorry,
I gotta say, these are some weak sauce Jedi here.
Dude, the lack of
so bad.
The lack of fortitude.
Wookiee apparently is weak. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, dude,
they put a metal detector in, like a literal metal detector in Wookiee's hands. I am laughing at this.
What was he looking for? What was he looking for?
I don't know.
The virgins.
The virgins can't be in the soil.
There were no virgins in this show, but he was definitely doing like, I need some coins and some jewelry. I'm searching the beach.
You could do a planetary scan. You literally
as soon as I saw that, I thought this is
with a metal detector.
This is going to be an episode.
They didn't discover the Hoover Dam in their spaceship.
You're right. You can't spot the thing you would see from space, but by golly, get out the metal detector.
Which presumably has some sort of smelting in it.
Smelting. You know what? It smelted really fast with that fire.
Yes.
Real life fake wizard for 199. Turban. Are we talking about Turban here? Minecrafted himself for that.
It's inexplicable because he wanted to go to Coruscant. He was only there for 7 weeks, and he's like, "Oh, Jedi Master, no, man, I'm just gonna hop on this speeder and get the kids." What?
I'm so homesick right now.
Truly.
Remember, he fortified himself, but that's why he left, because he still wanted to go to Coruscant, but he fortified himself when he confronted them. Did
he take a lifesaver or something? Is that how you fortify yourself with the Force?
No, they showed him meditating. Remember, they showed him meditating.
Okay, well, he took a freaking 7-year nap and came back and said, "No, I'm going to drink this bottle of self-deletion.
Come get your poison."
But why didn't everybody fortify themselves as soon as one of them was vulnerable to attack?
I'd have been like, "Hey, that
right,
doesn't
but he didn't actually fortify himself, right? Because he jumps on the freaking bike because he wants to leave the planet. So he didn't fortify himself. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point. Okay.
Biron Goo for $5. The return of the midi-chlorians. Yeah. So they call him M Count in this episode, and they also use the word M Count in Mandalorian. I want to say season 2, maybe. So they're trying to avoid the word, but midi-chlorians all up in this business.
That's right. They are all up in the business.
Yep.
I'm not against the midi-chlorians. I think Lucas explains them pretty well, and it doesn't actually change the mystic nature of the Force.
Well, now we have to wonder what in the world they meant by symbionts.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I know what a symbiont is, but I can't say it on a family show.
Daniil 89 for 5. Success. We've done it, boys and girls. We've influenced the Google AI so heavily that it's now using our typos. I just said the show is dead. Huzzah.
Huzzah! Let us know if it starts telling you who good twin and bad twin are. And pale skin, floating Dalsim of white guilt. We would love for those names to take off. White guilt Dalsim is my favorite.
Matt Flores.
By the way, the look on Soul's face right there. Let me pull that back a little bit. The look on his face is how. We can't do the audio. The look on his face is how I look every time I watch the show. She's like, I was signing the permission slip, and he's like, "What is wrong with you? You're dying. Why would you tell me this?"
She also just turned into a freaking wraith type creature, and he's like, "You're telling me the truth?"
Why would she do that? There's no reason for her to do that. Well, let me just freak out everybody here by exhibiting a power that nobody's seen before, and also it affects May.
He literally saw them performing the rituals, like in the beginning of the episode, and like all the cult stuff that they're doing.
Also, when Good Twin is like, "May, what did you do?" May could have said, "The Jedi killed Mama." Instead, she's like, I don't know. Blowing up everything, I guess.
Remember when
Hey,
she said
I
she
tried
wanted
to
to like, kill her sister, and she's like, "I hate you." Like they completely removed all of that from this episode.
No, but they explain it though. Remember, she's like, "Get mad," and she's like, "Ah!" and then she goes out mad against her sister for no reason.
Yeah,
Get
I'm
mad and
just
go beat up your
sad.
sister.
I'm setting you
They
on
removed that
fire.
stuff that she hates her and stuff, and they removed all that.
Yep.
She's like
Matt
trying to stand
Flores.
out.
Matt Flores, realtor for $2. That end credit music. That end credits music. Rest in peace, George's legacy. Shake my head. Yeah, it's that was really bad. I almost wanted to recite the lyrics. It was that bad.
Do we have the lyrics? Can we find those somewhere?
I really don't
Bring
want
up
to.
a discourse, lyrics. Let's go. We'll go through the whole thing.
Irate specialist for $4.99. Congrats for the 2K Wilton. What? Him? If cultural won't let you cut his hair, maybe Jonas will. Well, you can.
He Irate. It wasn't a haircut offer. He wanted me to take an acetylene torch and cut off my hair and my beard. I said no.
You can choose to feel sorry for yourself. I hope you don't.
Jonas is entering the Alec Guinness phase of his career, so you really got to keep what you got.
I think for the 2K Wilton, someone should shave Wilton. It's his 2K.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I agree.
I say we shave that puppet.
There you go.
Space Dave 2000 for $2 Canadian. By the way, Space Dave is going to be, I do believe, I'm going to check with Space Dave, but
tomorrow
is going to be on that game place tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. For $2 Canadian, I may be jobless, but even for money, I won't watch the Acolyte. It's so bad. I heard Space Dave is watching a different, he's watching the extended edition of Two Towers tonight. So, he's got us beat by far.
Jonas, 2 more super chats, then we've got a guest we need to bring on.
Sí. Dos más super
Who's at the
chats.
door?
Suspense Smith, member for 1. If only their shows were as clever as their lies. Yeah, that'd be nice. Although we can see right through those as well.
I was going to say they're pretty much in line.
Yep. But Buster Peak for $5. Shows like The Acolyte should be career killers, but in Hollywood, like in government, there seems to be a proclivity to fail upward. Yep,
Well, they're up in the stratosphere at this point. They should be out of orbit at this speed of failing.
Yeah, Leslye Headland has like her next 4 gigs lined up. So
you guys are really mean to her. I mean, she's doing her best.
I thought she was very effective in her role as Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant.
I know you said
The
one
best
more,
isn't good
but
enough.
I have to put this up here. Real life fake wizard for $1.99. We owe CW's Batwoman an apology. This is far worse.
Oh, yes.
I don't know about that. Is it?
Dude,
I didn't watch the
I know.
Batwoman, but
I'm going to tell you
saw
right
some of
now.
the ads it shows, and they were awful.
No, John, you don't really understand. This is a great comment. I agree. I think the CW writers were like, we could have done this for $200 million.
Oh, absolutely. You'd get much better CW shows for $200 million.
Yeah, Greg Berlanti would be like, okay, we can now spend half the budget on all the guys that I like, and the rest of the budget can go into the show.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
All right, folks, we're getting ready to celebrate the 2K with Floral from Under a Rock tomorrow. One puppet channel that is taking off. We have another puppet here that is exploding on the scene. He's more than a puppet. He's a man. Is he a man or is he a puppet? Anyway, Marvin, the movie monster, is here. Marvin, how did you suffer through this penultimate episode?
I have no faith left in the human race.
You're saying you did not enjoy episode 3 from a different camera.
I'm saying that no, I did not. Good Lord. I mean, oh man, the fact that who knew it was the men all along. It was those evil men. They were the ones that did it. Kumbaya, kumbaya.
Kumbaya, the thread. It never gets
She
old.
cut the thread.
Never gets
is what she did.
That's Oh boy, oy vey. All right, let's get to the big story, folks. The last one we have remained before we give this thing an actual numerical score, as much as that might hurt us to do so. We got a story out of Screen Rant, folks, and this one is well, let's move us over there. There we go. The media is getting ready to spin this, and I don't really know why. I have no idea why they want to try to spin it, because now that the Nielsen ratings are out, we've got two separate sources,
How they
Luminate and
face.
Oh yeah, and try to make her look a little bit different. I don't know why they're trying to defend it any longer, because this is a losing proposition. So I don't understand when they're going to understand that this does them no good. This is actually damaging them. Who knows? Maybe they won't figure it out. It says, is the Acolyte a success? Viewership and Rotten Tomatoes score explained. Oh boy, well, we need to have it explained, don't we? All right, here's what it says. And who's our author? Thomas Bacon. His brother Thomas Sausage brings the spice, but this one should be still nice. That's a terrible joke, folks. The latest viewership data raises the difficult question.
You don't know it.
Question of whether the Acolyte should be considered a success, triggered by Netflix. The streaming revolution has caused mass. Okay, we don't need a history of streaming. We'll just go to the next paragraph.
This is the kind of thing that I hate.
AI, clearly.
Star Wars.
Nothing but garbage. See as many Monday.com ads as you possibly can as you scroll down the page. Things that John Trent and I don't do over on that Park Place.
By the way, Prime deals for your business coming July 16th through 17th, folks. So it gives us the history of the Acolyte. Let's see if we can get to an actual story here. It's common to look at Rotten Tomatoes to figure out what the score is. 14% right now, 25,000 reviews, okay? I tested a random sample. Okay, we've got a story here. Actual work was done. I tested. This is Mr. Bacon, not Kevin. I tested a random sample of 30 reviews, checking for evidence of whether they were written by human beings or bots. Wait a minute.
Just like this.
Aren't reviews like usually a sentence or two?
Yes.
Okay. How would you know if a sentence or two is written by a human or a bot?
I also want to know how he chose this random sample of 30 reviews, which I doubt it was a random sample.
Agreed.
I'm very confused how he would even know this.
Well, there's a general rule. If they're saying something you don't agree with, they're a bot.
Yes.
I mean, these aren't essays. Like it's not something you could sit down and find patterns of AI in. Okay, let's keep going.
It's like Tony Khan does this in AEW. He says all the discourse on Twitter against AEW is all done by bots. Well, hello, Tony. I'm not a bot, and I hate it. So, it's the same thing.
Viewership in the toilet too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why they don't understand this yet. They are fighting over a failure. They are defending something that is definitively in the gutter. It won't chart in the final episodes. It's that unpopular.
He also just go back up a little bit. He says that he took this random sample of 30 reviews. He doesn't post any of them. He doesn't share how he did any of his actual experiment here. He doesn't provide any information whatsoever.
The source is trust me, bro.
The backlash is largely because the show is perceived as woke. Leslye Headland has come in for heavy criticism because of a claim this was the gayest Star Wars show ever, which she later stated was an awkward response. It has nothing to do, apparently, folks, with the fact she's Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant.
That's also a lie too, because she's when she said that she was into it being the gayest Star Wars show ever, that had anything to do with her saying it was an awkward response. She was saying her initial response to the question was an awkward response.
So let's get to the thesis here. Nielsen's viewership data gives a mixed picture for the Acolyte. The show is doing fairly well, but not great. Okay, what does that mean?
Wait.
I mean, we've covered this.
He's abandoned his 29 out of 30 reviews already.
We're done with that. We're moving on. Yeah, he's done. Nielsen is generally seen as the most reliable source for viewership figures, and the data for the Acolyte suggests the show is doing reasonably well. Okay.
What? Based on what?
Here's how the premieres compare to other live-action Star Wars shows. Okay. The Acolyte is at 244 million.
That's actually a misprint too. It's 444.
Well, apparently he divided the first two episodes to figure this out.
So,
Okay. So,
200.
Guys, question: was the Book of Boba Fett a success?
No.
Technically, maybe.
Okay, this is
He got us 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
This
back
is
when people
40%.
didn't think The Mandalorian's done.
It's the second from the bottom. How is this fairly well?
This is 40% lower than the Book of Boba Fett on a $200 million budget. I know they say
The
a buck
Andor
80.
one is wrong too. Andor did like 600 something, and then the Obi-Wan Kenobi is wrong as well.
This is this is a 75. Well, you know, actual research would be hard. Just using these numbers, though, since this is what Mr. Bacon's using, this would be a 75% drop from The Mandalorian Season 2. How in the world can a 75% drop be perceived as good? Anyway.
Fairly well.
Fairly well.
Well, you know, the sequel trilogy was such a huge success, despite the fact that each subsequent movie made less than the one before it.
Yes. Well, I think so. I think you're right.
So that's it.
Bro.
By the
I think
way,
he
that's
divided
the
all the
defense.
episodes together.
That's the
he divided
defense.
all
That's
the
it.
episodes in order to get the minutes watched, but he didn't take into account the minutes of the actual show.
He didn't
so
divide
the
them.
whole.
444 divided by 2 is not whatever 244. He just subtracted 200.
So Andor debuted with 3 episodes, right? And you said it was 600, and he's saying it's 200.
600 something. It was like 620. I have an article on that Park Place that goes over.
Okay, so let's take this article apart then.
Yep.
There are apparently 2 reasons that the Acolyte is fairly well. One, because this person says they found 30 responses that are clearly bots with no explanation whatsoever at all. And 2, because it has a 75% drop in viewership compared to The Mandalorian Season 2, but that's fairly well with no explanation given either. This is where we are with the media. Dear media, just move on. Just go to a new topic. You've given us the runway to tell the truth. Just go find something else to gaslight.
I think
I have to say, you want to know. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I just think this whole article is like an AI written article. I don't think Thomas Bacon really did anything.
Well, that first paragraph on the history of the history of streaming. I mean, look at this. The latest viewership data raises the difficult question of whether the Acolyte should be a success. Triggered by Netflix, the streaming revolution has caused massive disruption.
Yeah.
Yes, we really wanted a history of streaming. That's AI. That's one.
So here's the thing: you want to know who found bots and did the work and showed their work? Master of the TDS found bots, and he actually found real bots that were botting for the Acolyte, and he showed the work, and he showed what he did, and he showed the bot responses. This article showed nothing. Trust me, bro.
Nothing. Not a zip. You lose, sir. Good day. I won't play it, Jonas. I won't do it. We don't have the time.
You've got that one? You have that clip? That's actually a good clip.
Okay.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
The power of 1. The power of 2. The power of many.
See, now you ruined it. Now you ruined it.
Jonas, bring up the super chats, and then after that, we're going to give our numerical scores.
Suspense Smith for $5. This all feels like a crappy D20 campaign that Leslye GM'd, including random dice roll results, nonsense PC motivations, and non sequitur plot.
Imagine if your game master was on mushrooms, drunk, and clearly addled. That's Leslye Headland.
She admits this. She talks about how it's her fan fiction. She talks about how it's based off of her experience playing as like a teenager doing the original like Star Wars like TTRPG stuff. I mean, this is all like documented. That's exactly what she says that she did.
There you go.
Yep. Marcus Squintess for 10. Mike 0.
Whoa. This requires a man of great talent to read this super chat. Culture, are you up to the task?
Just a moment. I will deliver.
Jonas, could you play some elevator music while we get ready for Culture to do his thing? Could we get that going?
You got pretty beat. You got a pretty beat.
Go ahead, Culture.
Thank you so very much for your kind support. I've really been appreciating it because Star Wars right now was in a very dark place, and Leslye Headband was seen having a dinner with KK at the San Jose Red Lobster, where I actually happened to find a USB in the parking lot that gave me a lot of insight into what was going on with Disney Star Wars, and the fact that her and this Filoni Baloney guy are having some real issues. But anyway, over the Endless Shrimp and Biscuits, KK greenlights a second season of this Acolyte show, which, maybe has some mixed response. I don't know. Listen to this guy over at the Forbes place who really is totally lost his mind. This Tassie dude, who maybe some people over at that game place, they don't like him so much. But I'm going to tell you right now that before going to the Big Bopper tribute band, I learned an awful lot of things, and I just want to say thank you. Okay, thank you to everybody for your kind support.
If you can work the super chat into this would be great.
What? You did.
He read it.
Yeah, good. By the way, we love Mike Zero. We understand that he is doing something that is not straight news. We understand that it's a different genre. It's like when you see the Midnight Star reporting that the Goat Boy has been lost in San Bernardino. You don't suddenly run screaming to the police that, we need to find the Goat Boy. You understand that it's in the grocery aisle where it is for a reason. That's Mike Zero. And by the way, Mike Zero is making a ton of money doing the Midnight Star thing. We get it. We understand it.
No, he's absolutely great, and I actually like Mike Zero a lot. I watch his channel a lot.
Listen, once you understand what it is, it's not the kind of news content that some other YouTube channels are doing. It's not the same thing.
But
and he's making bank off of it.
What I do know is I feel personally attacked by Jonas J. Campbell right now.
You should.
Somebody who
not yet.
Somebody who I trusted with everything, and he shot me down.
He invaded your safe space.
He did.
That's right. All right. Well, Josh Berg for $2. It's not forced constipation. It's thread nutting.
You can't do that. I will literally shoot stuff out my nose. Don't do that again. It's not good. Oh.
This never gets old. This is supposed to be serious. This is supposed to be a serious scene.
So like Lady Turnface there. I mean,
Mama Odie.
Yeah. Look at that.
Droopy dog.
Wop wop. Like, she couldn't fall backwards.
If we could stop the Jedi from taking the twins, I'd be so happy.
Oh my. Go Carry for $2. Which is collapsing? The memes write themselves.
Oh,
so funny.
Witches be hating. PG's Projects for $199.
Slashing them up like Anakin in the temple.
PG's Projects for $199. Was Anastasia seducing Tobin? Yeah, that's kind of my question here. Is what were they trying to? Was she trying to get a date here? What's the deal?
It was overtly sexual.
She be wanting me turret. Leslye, I'm going to hang on to this Torbjorn joke.
It was
forever.
like deceptively though. Like she was like seducing him for deception.
If you listen to anything that Leslye Headland has to say, she's like obsessed with the idea that Anakin was seduced by the dark side and
forced seduction.
Yep, she's all about that. Like she talks about it not like constantly.
Yeah, does she not understand that that's a turn of phrase, being seduced by power? You're not actually lusting after it.
She does. It doesn't matter to her. She thinks that it's all about like a sexual activity.
Well, we saw from last week that she's nothing but like a Raylo weirdo.
Yes. Also confirmed in that Collider interview that she did.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's interested in illegal detainment for some reason.
Well, she really likes to try to see the good in horrible monsters of people. And, one must wonder, I mean, that's obviously how she maintained her employment for so many years, but one must wonder why she feels so strongly about this.
She says she is a Sith. She sees herself in Chimere. as the Sith.
Oh my god.
Official D-Regs for $5. I think culture understands this RDR1 quote as that Red Dead Redemption quote related to Star Wars. When I'm gone, they'll just find another monster. They have to justify their wages.
There it is, exactly. And look, Red Dead Redemption 2, two of the best games ever done. Well written from beginning to end, plus the dialogue is unbeatable.
Who's the character who says it in the first one?
It wasn't Marston. It was the other. Oh my gosh! Why did you do that to me?
Ha-ha!
It's Dutch. Dutch says it.
Dutch.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah,
Yep.
and here's the weirdest thing, right? Because those two games are so well written, those people aren't there anymore. When we get
They never
GTA 6, when we get the next Red Dead Redemption, which they have to make another one. They won't be there anymore. And you have no longer two of the greatest dialogue writers in the history of video games that aren't at a studio, who only survived because of their abilities to write. And you're about to get, I don't know, knockoff writers.
Oh, sweet baby. Who will they find next?
That's the other
That's
problem.
it.
And we talk about that on our great channel. Our great channel, and I'm going to do something magical. That game place.
Now I feel like I'm home.
That's right. and let me tell you, Marvin is one of our great contributors. I'm trying to get these other people over there, but I like Jonas pretends to be a gamer. He really revealed
Guy doesn't
himself,
even like Mass Effect. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't like
He told me.
character animation in Mass Effect. I don't see that as the same as not liking Mass Effect.
I feel like you don't like Mass Effect. I mean, it was.
I thought you
clear.
said like last week you did not like Mass Effect.
Yes,
He
I'm not gonna go-
100%
I mean,
said
if I have the option between a good recent game and Mass Effect, I'm probably going to choose the good recent game.
He told me he hates pixel art.
What are these good
100%ed
recent
Mass
games
Effect
you're
in the
talking
past.
about?
Yeah, what are those?
That you would play over Mass Effect.
Oh, I'd rather play Pikmin 4 for the 30th time than play Mass Effect again.
Wow.
I feel like there's something very wrong with you.
He's into
first
Olimar.
First of all, Pikmin is a genius game. Anyways, I like games to be fun and not long elevator rides with different color explosions at the end.
All right, let's not be too mean to Tetris.
Thank you, official tracks.
Wow.
Actually, Marvin, I need to talk to you about something.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Hey,
You doing
Jonas,
all
what's
right,
up?
man? Yeah.
No, I'm doing all right.
I got a friend. His name is Dustin,
Uh-huh.
and I want you to be very nice to him.
Right, because he enjoys a specific wrestling company that the fans of which do not take any criticism in any way, shape, or form well, right?
Whoa. I don't know anything about wrestling, so I really can't say anything on this matter. But
I understand.
And I also don't know who Jim Cornette is. I understand.
Oh, but no, he's a wonderful man.
Oh, okay.
I love.
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
So, anyways, we're gonna put you on a pip. Anyways, Dustin Sensenig for $5. Marvin, you can like what you want to like in wrestling, but please don't be acting like Jim Cornette. You're better than that.
I am certainly not better than Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is the greatest of all time. So he is the #1 wrestling podcast in the world. So,
no,
but I appreciate your contribution to the channel, Dustin, and your opinion on wrestling, even though it differs from my own, and I will not fault you for it because I am a good person.
All right. The Emerald Production says someone used /kill at E witches.
Oh no.
Oh, that makes sense. And no, she tapped into the Matrix. She used her Matrix power. She tapped into it. Should have Mario.
She should have used her eagle powers.
There are some things that you just shouldn't, put in your bash prompt.
John JID 999 for $199. The Wookiee must have gotten into New Jack's stash.
That is a wrestling thing, Jonas. A New Jack stash is something I don't think that Master Trinity would have had as easy of a time bringing him down.
Master Trinity.
I just thought the Wookiee had Red Bull.
Marcus Squintess for $2. So worth. Thanks, CC.
Hey, Jonas, before the next one, I have to talk to you for a second.
Okay. What?
We're not doing that bit again. That was a lot of work. Go ahead.
Okay.
It takes way too much.
I'm not. Anastasia wanted to respect the sanctity of herself and others because she was a.
Oh, I see what you're talking about now. I was reading the wrong one. I was like, why is he not putting that one on the screen? I
thought she wanted to go to the planet from The Last Jedi, right?
Octo?
Yes.
Yeah, she wanted to Octo.
No. Sorry.
Octung, baby.
Well, why doesn't Osha, when she gets there, the first thing out of her mouth should say, "Where are we?" She never says that. Did you notice that on that episode?
Because he would have said,
asked
Did you not read the title? Unknown Planet, of course. I'm taking it back.
So she did. Gotcha.
Let me hand you your script. Oh my gosh,
It's like it reminds me of the gag from the Muppet movie when Dr. Teeth is reading the screenplay.
Oh yes, that is
like,
so.
How did you
good.
know we were going to be here? Oh, we kept reading that screenplay you gave us. Exterior swamp.
It reminded me of the Seinfeld episode. We won't go into that though.
No. Marcus Squintess for $2. Anastasia wanted Tobin because he had an actual job.
Well, I thought it was because I thought
the
it was
Wookiee was
because
scanning
he
for battle.
Yes, but I thought he was like I thought it was because he was naked on CNN and he was tubing.
Oh, I get that joke.
We can't get away from this kind of stuff tonight. Butterbiscuit 92 for $2. Quote unquote gamer L take Jonas strikes again. Hey,
Jonas.
Jonas.
If you
I
guys
want to make
think
that a thing. I want to make that a thing.
Mass Effect
game place
is the gatekeeping game. Really? Mass Effect?
Dude, look, you need to play the game. You know what? You need to do like a review
I have
of the
played
game.
this game. I have 100%. I have 100%.
You need to let this go, man.
At least one Mass Effect game. I have played this game. It is not that good.
You
Which
need
is
to
better,
work on it.
Mass Effect or Bioshock?
Oh,
Bioshock. Clearly.
Bioshock
is atmospheric and has great storylines.
Well, and when you get to the third game,
Bioshock only has one good game too, though.
I like the third game.
There's a third game where they're in like the America one.
Floating.
They were flying, yeah.
And since
is that one first person?
Bioshock,
yes.
Yeah.
Every single
unless you're at the rails.
But that's because you need to see where you're going.
Right. All right, guys, we need to see where we're going with a score for this. We're going to start with John. We're going to run around the clock here. Clockwise fashion, 0 to 10, just like we did before. 5 is average, 10 is the greatest thing you've ever seen at Citizen Kane. 0 is Garbage Pail Kids bad. Rainbow Bride and the Star Stealer. Here we go. John, what does episode 7, the penultimate, get from you?
I'm a broken record, just like this show is, so it's a 1 out of 10 again because they made something.
Oh no,
1 out of 10. Culture.
That's not kind, John. Okay, so I just want to say that, like Mike Zero, this is a number 2. This is a number 2.
We love Mike Zero, though. We should have Mike on sometime. I don't know if he'll come down here.
I'm going to say this in front of all humanity. I love the guy. I think he's great. And
he
I watch his
knows
stuff
what he's
all the
doing, and
time.
he's having a lot of fun.
No. It's true. But he's a 2. This is a 2, and the reason it's a 2 is calm down.
He's doing the Stephen Colbert thing when Colbert was doing the O'Reilly pastiche.
He used to be funny, but I will say this: no, this is a 2, and it's because it tried really hard to be Star Wars.
Tried to be something.
What? It tried. It tried. I just look.
No.
I will reward the fact that you can kill a lot of people by pushing out the demon. This was the best scene I've ever seen.
I still don't know how they died, but they did.
Okay, but Mama Turd.
That's out the Oscars, folks. That's acting right there.
Mama Turdface did not fall backwards like everybody else. No. She fell forwards. So somebody's
all right, so you're giving it a 2. Is that right, Culture?
Yeah, because somebody's going to have to clean
John's
that up.
giving it a 1. Okay, Vash, what's your score?
I'm gonna have to go like 1.5. Can we do 1? Can we do 1.5?
You can do 1.5.
Only because of some of the action sequences at the end there with the Jedi copping around. even though they were not good, at least it was something more than the previous episode. And so but the plot contrivances, the bad effects, the bad storytelling, the carelessness, ineptitude of the Jedi, every single man is bad, all these things. It's just getting really old at this point. Horrible performances as well. It's got to be 1.5.
All right, Jonas.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
What? You just give it a 6.
I'll take Jonas.
I'm not even going to ask why.
Finally, a man of
our
culture
average.
in the chat right here. Mega Nerd X, Skies of Arcadia on Dreamcast.
Yes.
Skies of Arcadia is a masterpiece. So.
Okay, all right. Hang on.
It's a
Mass
must-play
Effect, I can
RPG.
forget and be fine for the rest of my life, but I would love to get another copy of Skies of Arcadia. That was a great.
I have it.
You're trying to deflect from the fact that you just gave this episode a 6.
Yeah, no.
Well,
John,
let me explain.
No, hey, Jonas,
the first two
wait,
episodes got a 5 for production value, and this one there was actually some moments between Saul's character, Saul and what's her name, Indara, that were actually decent acting. So I did see some acting in this episode. The lightsaber fight was semi interesting.
The Virgins.
Easy, Vash. All right. Vash is like, what did I do wrong? I said it the way they said it. Culture, what do you got?
I want John to write a story on Jonas's bad opinion because, oh my gosh.
What? Well, I'm just trying to be consistent here.
I thought that I was going to be
If you go
kind.
say it in the Magic Kingdom, Jonas, I can write the story.
I thought I was going to be kind because I'm giving it a 3.5. That's the highest score I think I've given any episode. And I'm only giving it that because things actually happened in this episode.
Yeah.
So
What?
I'm sorry. The lightsaber fight we saw a few episodes ago doesn't count. So
What happened that we didn't already know? We knew all of this. You didn't need.
we got a Wookiee fight. The witches made me laugh really, really hard. I've not laughed that hard since. What was the last thing that made me laugh that hard? When the 12-year-old girl bashed the helmet off.
Oh man, did you see the clip? That helmet is rubber. First of all, it's never going to fit on her head.
I did it all for the Wookiee. Yeah, the Wookiee. Yeah.
So you can take that.
There you go.
And stick it. Never mind. And Marvin, tell us
the
what
chat
we're going
is so angry at my score and the fact that I'm no longer interested in Mass Effect.
Marvin, stick us with a number on this. What
I mean, I'm not interested in Mass Effect either.
So,
See?
Okay, so
Everybody needs a villain.
I thought the Wookiee fight was fun for like a minute, but it does not supersede the fact that they took Soul, Jedi Master Squid Games, the one good character they created in this entire thing, and completely ruined him by making him creepy and just a total assassination of the character, 110%. So for that, if I may quote an infinitely better piece of media than this, 0.0.
All right. Well, that actually gives us a whole number. I was hoping you would do that. We've got our final score then.
That's why you were saving me.
Final score then, folks, made by Jonas J. Campbell, lifted up to a higher level, and by me, I guess, a 2 out of 10 for this episode. Folks, 2 out of 10 is the score. That's right. Thank you, Jonas. You kept us out of 1.5 territory.
Is this the highest rated episode now?
No, that goes to episode
5.
I think episode 2 and episode 5 had higher scores.
How did episode 2 get rated that high? Are we talking about the second week or episode 2?
Literally episode 2, the first week. I think it had like a 2.5 or a 3 or something.
The bad makeup on Torben.
That was also your fault, Joe.
Yeah.
John, I sent you gold. So
The fact that this
in the message system. Sorry.
The fact that
By the way,
speeder bikes looked better in Return of the Jedi than in this $200 million show.
Yes. Much better.
Jonas, do we have any more super chats?
Yes, we do. John JID for 199, watching Piper versus Hogan 97 to get my mind off this.
Not bad.
Excellent, brother. Izzo's Place for $5. Hey, I like Garbage Pail Kids.
See,
Greatest
yeah.
kids horror film ever made.
I'm telling you right now. Look, there are some people who like that film because it was bad. You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's legit one of the worst movies ever made.
Well, no, Manos Hands of Fate is the worst film ever made.
Well, listen, Garbage Pail Kids is so bad that the animatronic heads break halfway through the movie, and the actors literally whip their heads back and forth to make the jaws flap a little bit to fake it. I mean, it's atrocious.
Okay.
All right, continue on.
Alrighty, official D-Regs for $5. Culture, the real ones. Remember, Rockstar,
Yes.
Hidden Old Gem, State of Emergency. Jonas, it's official Dregs, one word. Also, Marvin, I prefer AAA and CMLL.
Oh,
more. That's a lot of corrections.
Those are Mexican wrestling companies.
Yeah. Wow. Look,
I think you might get
They're
another
good.
one soon too after that rating of a 6. Might have to correct you on that too.
Me?
I'll take Jonas.
No, what Jonas? Jonas said there's a lot of corrections.
Dude,
So
oh man,
Who's correcting me? What?
Jonas, you need a lot of corrections. You know.
Well, I'm just
talking
going to
about
say
Culture,
that
but
the only reason I
Jonas
called them
reading it.
official D-Regs was because Culture, you were the one who called them official D-Regs first.
I think official dregs is fine.
Obviously, if it's one word. All right.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say D-Regs, but okay.
Stone Cold Heart, member for
Hello.
4. The Acolyte was written by an adolescent intellect. Agreed.
Otherwise
I
known
think I
as
said
Tumblr.
in my last review that I posted today of episode 6, I think I said it is like it was written by a 6-year-old with ADHD, but like actual ADHD and not the ADHD that everyone self-diagnoses themselves with today.
People are hitting me hard in the memes. I'm glad we don't show memes on this channel. I would be destroyed at the moment.
You getting a lot of hot girl memes today?
I am. Yes, it's very bad. Very bad.
All right, folks. Well, something that's not bad is getting to spend our time with you next week. The final episode, the final nail in the coffin. It's going to be a big one. And then, folks, don't forget that we are going to be doing Agatha after parties because, yes, that's going to be just as bad. Nobody wants Agatha. We'll do
This
Agatha
might be
after
worse.
parties in September. And, John, you've talked about us doing a Rings of Power after party.
No.
John, when is that going to release?
Culture is going to dress up as Gandalf every single episode.
When does it release, John?
I don't know. I don't really pay
I
attention.
believe it's in August.
Do
at
some
some
research
point.
here,
I know
John.
that.
Find out. All right.
Rings of Power after parties is something I definitely would like to be a part of because I'm going to be ripping that to shreds. If you thought I was hot on the Acolyte, oh my god!
All right, folks, get ready for very bad Smeagol impressions. We're bringing it. And
August 29 is
August 29. All right, folks, we'll put it on the calendar. We'll see how it plays out. We may put a poll out there, find out if you all are interested, if you want to do the support.
Okay.
One thing we need, finally, folks, for support, we're going to send you over to Vacation Radio in just a moment. One more night is all we need of you to let that thing play, and then it should be monetized and on its way. And it's not that monetization, it's not like we got to have money for Vacation Radio. It's that once a channel is monetized, YouTube classifies it much differently. And what that means for a radio station is YouTube suddenly has a reason to send people to it. And until that happens, YouTube will send nobody there. It's completely on us to make sure that we get people over there. And then after that, things change. And so if you could help us do that, it's our first step into, well, a lot of original content creation. We're very excited to do it. If you're not yet subscribed to the Trent Report, Culture Casino, That Game Place, T3PO, also known as At That Pod Place, That Park Place, and Tooneytown TV and Tooneytown Wrestling, well, folks, we've just given you the list. Subscribe away and prepare an entire day of great content. You are going to be amazified. And yes, it's true. It's a word. All right, we've got, let's see, I'm seeing here one thing that we've got a Cinema Blend article. We're not going to read it tonight, but John, what do you know about this Cinema Blend article? Are we doing a video on this tomorrow or sometime? Is it worth it?
You have to ask Culture on that. It's
right.
I mean, it's possible you guys might want to do something about this. This is a park thing. People are leaving the parks.
But we also have some super chats to read.
Oh,
I was gonna make a joke about the sewage pipe that exploded in Disney Springs, but okay, go for it, Jonas. Super chat instead.
Azavek Sabretooth the Raptor for $5. Didn't watch it, but I would give the episode negative.
Jonas, he paid $5. You read every single number. You do it. You owe this.
The 9 to the power of 999,999.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
I don't want to point out
to say something like that to Jonas J. Campbell, the #1 fan of episode 7 of The Acolyte.
He loved it. He gave it better than average.
I mean, the guy raved about it. We can't stop him. From
5 is average. What are you talking about? You didn't like it.
Dude.
You gave episode 5 7, and this is 6.
Yeah. 7 was hilarious.
I gave Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a 7.
Where in the world is
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
Where in the world is 60% a passing grade? That's still failure.
Jonas thought we were grading on a scale of 0 to 100.
Okay,
that's the only reasonable answer.
No. Everybody time out. So if you go over to Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.4 is 72%.
That math adds up.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to change it to a 4 if it's going to come out as a positive.
Just giving you
the book of record.
Rotten Tomatoes math. I'm helping everybody out because that's how it works. I was surprised.
I would like to change my score. I was putting 7 as average.
Jonas, if you can get your score changed before the outro. Yeah, exactly. Jonas, if you can get your score changed before the outro starts playing, we'll let you count it. The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by...
Hey, Turd Bucket, we still got super chats.
Oh no! We've been sabotaged by supers!
Rest in peace, Oye Primos after parties.
Lo siento mucho. Disculpe, amigo Doggy Perrito.
I'm here from the Fart Knocker tribe. Anyways.
Doggy, you have ruined the opportunity to take Jonas down.
But is that the race of that character that culture keeps calling Turd Face? The Fart Knockers?
Fart Knocker tribe.
Nas, okay, so I'm sorry, but Nas cannot.
It was the Tar Nation that fired first.
That's fine.
You know what? Let's play it again. Requesting permission. Wrong one. We'll play another one. The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are...
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say, as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.